2, 1. Let's go. The name is Law Nation. And as I proceed to give you and you what you need, be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Shout out to the HBO. Thank you guys so much for supporting this. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and anything else that's in the way. Let's go. Yup. Come on. Mama said there'll be days just like this. And then they say, life like this, I wish raindrops will fall. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Yep. Come on. All right. All right. What's up with y'all, man? What's up with y'all? We hearing news that there's a fire sale going on, and it's softly spoken because a lot of people say, well, it's the end of the contract. Your contract expiring. That's the soft way of telling someone, man, we do not want your services anymore, and we're going to seek other options. Now, we're going to let you off slowly because in this world, in these United States, you just can't let a person leave on a contract. This is an agreement between two or more parties. When it's ending, you have to give a letter or a notice of termination. You have to bring in their badges, their ID, their information, and anything that's pertinent to the Cowboys organization in order for them to leave. Now, there are within contracts option renewals, right? Whereas you would like to get a report back from someone about said employer about their work habits, their duties, and what they did and accomplished. Normally, you do that 6 months before the contract ends. They call it performance improvement report, or some people call it your overall grading system. Whether it be, all right, did you accomplish these sets of things while you was under our employment? So all of those things got to go into consideration before you can let someone leave, right? Because then there's a thing called wrongful termination and a whole bunch of other stuff that you got to have it from a legal aspect of it. But allowing someone contract to end is a soft way of saying we do not want your services. We no longer see value in you. But if you see value in someone 6 months before the contract is up, you would try to renew said contract. Now, some people do get their renewals of contracts as far as employment 1 month out. But if you haven't heard anything and it's about 1 to 2 days before termination, you already know you ain't welcome back. So to that point and to that degree, the same could be said to even these players, right? If you really want Pat Mahomes, you're not going to wait for his contract to end and say, you know what, we're thinking about re-signing you. No, that's just how it goes, unfortunately. So I look at it just like this with the aspect of Mike McCarthy being on the hot seat is very prevalent. Why, Law? Well, you got rid of the right-hand man. You got rid of the right-hand man. Let me see if I can pull this up. And I feel what a lot of people are saying, but I'm going to go over as much as I can. Give me 1 second here. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Boom. I posted this earlier and late last night. Mike McCarthy is next on this list. Clarence Hill reported the Cowboys got Mike McCarthy's right-hand man to go to. And his name is Rob Davis, the assistant head coach. And then Bobby Belt tweeted out, fans may not be familiar with him, but Rob Davis being let go is significant. Davis is a big-time Mike McCarthy confident guy, right? He is the right-hand man of Mike McCarthy. Now, in the animal kingdom, birds of prey, when it's time to kick the youngins out of the nest, they peck at them. They begin to put sharp objects in the nest. They make the environment difficult for the youngins to be there. They take away some of the things. They start feeding them, saying that, hey, you have reached the max capacity. I like you, but you got to go. I love you, but I can't keep you. So they began to put thorns. They began to put sharp objects in the nest. And eventually, that bird say, hey, you're not feeding me anymore. You took away all of the resources. I have no choice but to move on. And I think Nietzsche once said one must learn to fly. Meaning that at the end of the day, it's your time is up, baby. So what they're saying to Mike McCarthy, we going to get rid of Joe Philbin. We're going to get rid of your guys, right? We're going to get rid of Rob Davis. We're going to get rid of all of the pieces that you feel comfortable with. And you can politely walk away from this, or you can sit in this knowing that you got knives all around you. And a lot of people, it'll go over their head and they say, nah, man, Mike McCarthy, man, they love him. They trust him. They believe it in him, Coaches matter. Yeah, I feel you, Todd. Coaches do matter. So here's the thing. When we start talking about that and we go over the things that Mike McCarthy said he don't like, and then we see the same things happening over and over again, it's equivalent to saying to your spouse, I don't like spaghetti. And every other day she's cooking spaghetti or he is cooking spaghetti. So 9 times out of 10, they don't value your thoughts, your opinions, and your feedback and your intel. Right? Because they're still serving you spaghetti. So when Mike McCarthy said, hey, Kellen Moore, I don't like option routes. I don't consider option routes a good staple piece for this offense. And all this year, we seen what? Can y'all put it down in the chat? Option routes. Option routes. I would prefer the Jones family to just be bold with us and stop lying to kick it. I would respect the Jones administration more if they just go into a press conference and say, hey, Kellen Moore is our knight in shining armor. We love him. We really respect his intellect. Right now he's young, but he is our next coach, head coach in waiting. We would respect that more. At least we would know. At least we would understand the moves that's going on. That's just what it is. Now, granted, they would not say that. And that's what I said earlier, about 15 years ago. I would have respected the Jones administration more if they would have said, like, hey, Wade Phillips, we like what you bring to the table, but Jason Garrett is one of ours. We would have had a better situation. Why? Because I think Wade Phillips is a phenomenal defensive minded person. I think he's been to 3 Super Bowls since we let him go. I think Wade Phillips would have been phenomenal of knowing that, hey, he will be our defensive coordinator, and this dude, Jason Garrett, would automatically be the head coach, even though he had Similac behind his ears. He was young, going through growing pains or what have you. At least we won't have the shank in the back factor, right? But what they did was they muddied the waters and said, all right, well, we will pay you the same amount of remuneration as the head coach, being the offensive coordinator. Yeah, let's say, yeah, that's just how it is. That's the facts. We can see the writing on the wall. And I could be 1,000,000% wrong. But those were facts. And then that's what I posted this right here. I said here, and I appreciate everybody, Cowboys peer-to-peer coaching plan is not working. You can't have it both ways. Either Kellen Moore is a genius / boy wonder, and Dak Prescott is below average or trash. How I don't say trash out here, but a lot of people saying he's trash, right? Or Dak is great / elite, and Kellen Moore is horrible. I don't think that Kellen is able to coach up or challenge Dak consistently. In my opinion, this is just my thoughts from what I'm seeing from the outside looking in. I don't think that Kellen Moore can raise Dak Prescott, nor Dak Prescott can receive the information that he's getting from Kellen Moore and apply it. I don't see that. I don't think that these two guys, as we looking at the picture right now, as they are sitting down, listening to the instructor, wearing the pretty much almost damn near the same suit jacket, I don't think that Kellen can elevate Dak, nor Dak can increase by learning something from Kellen Moore. Put it like this. This is a prime example. I don't think that you guys can give me a tour of my own home when you don't know it. You may know houses, but you don't know minds. You can't collectively teach something you don't know. You can't provide something you don't have. You can't pour upon information to someone that you are still learning yourself. So that's why I say peer-to-peer coaching is not working out. Now, granted, somebody said, well, hey, Law, what about this? In my Facebook comment. How about that if Kellen Moore is average and Dak Prescott is average? That's bullshit. You can't have it both ways. You can't be 3 out of the 4 years that Kellen Moore been here when Dak Prescott is healthy. You can't have a number one offense in total points and scores by being average. You can't. You can't do that. That's impossible for you to have those type of numbers and accolades. Well, Law, it's only because they are good against horrible teams. If that's the case in the scenario, then there should be a multiple of other teams in the last 3 to 4 years being ranked number 2, number 3, or being ranked number 1. You can't have it both ways. So either Dak Prescott is trash and Kellen Moore is a genius, or Kellen Moore is horrid and trash and Dak Prescott is elite or great or good. You can't have it both ways. And those are the facts. I can't sit here and look at your portfolio and say, yeah, man, looking at your portfolio, it says that you made $250,000 this year, right? Based off of the funds that you made. And then say in the same breath, well, with that $250,000, you trash. Your portfolio really not $250,000. It's only $25,000. No, it don't work that way. If you made, let me go down and break it down to smaller numbers. If you make $50,000 a year, that's your salary. You make $50,000 a year. If you make $20,000 a year, it's not $50,000. That's just how it goes. All right, 24/7 Cowboy. If Kellen Moore is still here after the Jones family clean house, can we go protest the Cowboys headquarters? I can't take this anymore of this mess. Appreciate you, dog. All right, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not saying get rid of Kellen Moore, get rid of Dak, but somebody got to draw the line in the sand and come up with a solution and a plan. That's just how it goes. Both are above average. Surrounding cast has elevated both. Now, with that being said, how much is the surrounding cast elevating? Based upon the information that you have. Now we got to contextualize everything. Everything. The players versus all other players in the National Football League. See how deep this rabbit hole goes? Ooh. But you need some type of change. Here's my 1,000 truths with this. There's levels, maximum levels that we can all clearly see. And maybe sometimes a player to coach can hit their ceiling. That could be the optimum thing right there. That when you play against this levels of defense with Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, this will be the max ceiling what they're going to do and produce. In order for the Cowboys to win, you got to elevate the defense. But from an offensive standpoint, that is who Dak is, and that's who he will always be from Kellen Moore. Why? Because it goes back to my information just like this. If Kellen Moore can only pour upon him the knowledge and the information that he have, he can't go pour and pour and pour more and more information that he don't have. Right? That's just how it is. So he done reached his max capacity. So at this point, you can't stay in high school forever. Some fellas like to say, man, I'm still in high school. You know what I'm saying? You can't stay in middle school forever. At some point, you got to move on. It doesn't mean that, hey, middle school was horrible. Doesn't mean that the elementary school was horrible. But it just means that it was time for you to grow and move on. So with Dak Prescott, according to his contract, he got 2 more years. Now, they can literally do this and say, all right, we got 2 more years to work this out, Kellen Moore and Dak. Or they can look back at this thing and say, all right, we seen this storyline before. You've been having 4 years with Kellen Moore. It's time for one of y'all to go. And according to this contract, it's more feasible for us to release you because there's no salary cap as it relates to coaching. I need to know, can I get the max results from Dak Prescott? And unfortunately, you didn't give or provided us that. But to be objective, I got something for that. Mr. 316, long would you be mad if you heard breaking news Dallas Cowboys acquired Saquon Barkley? Yeah, it would be Saquon Barkley looking for a big contract, and you paying the running back that, and we already got cornerback. This is Scott, but I appreciate you for your support there, though, my dog. Appreciate you. We got right here, Law, it's been 7 years. Dak hit his ceiling. Yep. We can literally say that. It's been 7 years, but his contract is still in play. His contract's still in play. So it's just like anything else you do. Anything else you do when you tied into the contract or when you tied into something that's long-term. You got 2 more years. There's nothing you can do about it, but just wait the 2 years out now. Even if he hit his ceiling, you should be able to have enough data and information, Army Mom, and I appreciate you for that. You should have enough information and data to say, all right, I know for sure Dak cannot win us a playoff game with these host of weapons. I know for sure that when we play against stout defenses, whether it's cover 4 or they can create pressure with 4, this dude is horrible in that situation. So how do I improve from there? That's the only way. Or you could take the approach and say, well, you know what? We're going to continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Because if I had a time machine and I go back to this moment right here last year, the Eagles fans were saying, man, we got a one-read quarterback. Yeah, he can run the ball, but they're 9-8. They're 9-8. Look how much a difference a year can make. You can't find one Eagle fan to say one negative word about Jalen Hurts. Why? What changed? Do y'all truly believe that Jalen Hurts will be the same Jalen Hurts if you take away the weapons? I'm just being real now. Let's be real. If you take away A.J. Brown, if you take away that star-studded defense, number one, number two, respectfully defense in the National Football League, will they still be going to these playoff games in the same spot? Yes or no? And this is not Dak versus Hurts, but this is just a philosophy versus philosophy. Let me see. No way. Army Mom, I think you being a prisoner of the moment. I think you're being prisoner of the moment because what my guy Boss Cowboys Sports said too is when we brought up these numbers, Hurts is having the same type of year far as a production of throwing the ball that Dak Prescott had his rookie year. But I feel what y'all saying. Because prisoners of the moment, y'all look back and y'all say, all right, this dude would be doing the same thing if they kept Jalen Reagor, right? What's up, Law? UFA wide receiver 2023, Miko Hartman, Marvin Jones, Alan Lazard, Sterling Shepard. Shout out to Sterling Shepard. His father played for DJ Chalk. Your thoughts on giving Dak some of these weapons? Drizzy.
Dracarys.
Miko would be the take the top off the defense guy. Marvin Jones, we've seen what he did to us this past year. I think out of all of those wide receivers, Alan Lazard, he was looking really good. I think that he would have a nice stay here. You match him up with what we do. Alan Lazard, as it relates to him being maybe the quasi number 2, number 3 wide receiver, that would be nice. Sterling Shepard, he just can't stay healthy, man. He's a gritty type of wide receiver, but he can't stay healthy for some strange reason. And the same story could be for DJ. Chalk. I like him, man. But I don't think that the Cowboys will go any of these directions, though. But it's a great observation, though. They will help. They will help. Allen underachieved. Give me Hardman. Yeah, I feel you. We'll find out. We'll find out. Let's go. Let's listen to this report from David Hellman. He was on 105. Let's see what he had to say.
I mean,
right.
The .com office is on the second floor of the Star. You got to go upstairs to talk to people. People don't come downstairs to talk to you. I think members of the family and the front office, they used to walk through our part of the building back when it was still kind of under construction, like when we first opened and not everything was ready. But as soon as the building was ready, people stopped coming through. They're not looking for us. We have to go talk to them. So, no, it's really more along the lines of do it first and beg for forgiveness later type of deal than anything.
David Hellman joining us from Cali on the Diamond Factory Hotline. You either went to sleep or woke up to a purge of the coaching staff with George Edwards, Leon Letts, Skip Pete, Joe Philbin, Rob Davis. Who's the recent one?
Kyle Valero.
Is this something or nothing when it comes to Mike McCarthy's status here?
Mike McCarthy's status, I think Mike McCarthy's okay, but I will say two of those in particular kind of feel like a shot across the bow, and it's Joe Philbin and Rob Davis, because they're both guys that have a long history with him. Obviously, Joe Philbin was with him in Green Bay as long ago as a decade, and Rob Davis has kind of been his number one guy. That hire raised eyebrows when it happened, because everybody was like, well, what exactly does he do? And it was basically he's Mike's man on the inside. He's his guy that's getting intel on the roster and everything. So those two decisions, and maybe Mike did make them. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Now, the hardest thing to consider would be Joe Philbin. I get it. No one looked back at Joe Philbin his first year here and said, "Hey, man, give him kudos and credence." But Joe Philbin been that silent assassin as a coach to help improve Terrence Steele, to help improve some of the guys that's on this offensive front, especially as it relates to Connor McGovern and Tyler Biotish. All of those boys increased under the watch of Joe Philbin, and we can't be leaving out Tyler Smith. It was reported that coming out of the draft, Joe Philbin didn't want Tyler Smith. But sometimes in life, you got to deal with what you got and make things work. And lo and behold, he coached that boy up, and his philosophies worked. Now, my thing is with all of this would be, all right, so who's the next coach? You got enough time now. Is it Mark Colombo, or is it the guy that was Bill Callahan that went over to Cleveland? There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching. You said, Jerry Jones, that if you could win the Super Bowl, there would be a sizable check that you wouldn't be afraid to cash. Well, you're getting long in the tooth. That's a long tooth, Jerry. There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching. So you should get the best creme de la creme, the cream of the crop. You should be able to go grab those guys. I would, if I was a billionaire, probably why I'm not a billionaire, I'll be bullying everybody for some good coaches around this mug, man. You know what I'm saying? I would literally bully everyone. Shout out to you, David. He said, "Law, check your messenger." I got so many messengers, man. Which one? Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, But I appreciate you, David.
But when I saw that come across Twitter, I was like, "Ooh, those are guys that he has a long history with." I wonder if that was more front office driven than coach driven. But I don't think I'm not worried about Mike McCarthy's status. But it does, I think when you have a disappointing finish, you shake things up, and those two specifically make me wonder if it's more the front office doing the shaking.
No doubt. It is what it is. Army Mom says, "I backed Dak for 6 years, no more." I feel you. There's not enough real estate to continue to back up Dak Prescott. There's none. There's absolutely none. There's none. The only option, Army Mom, would be the legit only option would be getting rid of the offensive coordinator and putting more weapons around him. If not, you can still go get more weapons, and we would still be 2nd and 2, going shotgun empty. Put it like this. I'm going to say this until I'm Cowboys blue in the face. What scheme do we run? What's the identity of this team? And I encourage you guys to go look at the Final Four teams and let me know one by one what scheme the Eagles run, what scheme the 49ers run, what scheme the Kansas City Chiefs runs, what scheme the Cincinnati Bengals run. And what I'm trying to say is we literally have zero scheme put into place. Zero. Zilch. We literally collecting a handful of plays, and it's just like a mixed bag of nuts, and we throwing it out there. Do it taste good? Yeah. But is it a level of consistency? No, it's not. So what we're trying to do is on Facebook. Okay, David, I can't check it while I'm live here, but I'll check it when I'm off air. Appreciate you, though. Thank you so much. So that is the reality of it. So what we do as Cowboy fans, we get mad when we lose to a team that came with a plan, a scheme. Can somebody put down the definition of scheme? Can somebody put down the definition of scheme? I don't think we are doing that. Now, granted, like I said, there's two things that can be true. Maybe, just maybe, Kellen Moore is the genius. Maybe he is the smartest thing since sliced bread. Coach Marv says, "Law, I'm back. Can I vent today? Are you doing video chat today? Please let the old coach vent. Yeah, we would do the phone calls a little later on. We would do the phone calls a little later on. But here's the truths. If I'm representing Kellen Moore and I go in for my performance improvement plan, my PIP, or my evaluations of what I bring to the table, I'm walking in there boldly with my chest out. And I'm saying that, hey, I'm not the fault. I'm not the problem. 3 out of the 4 years I've been here, we finished top 3 in offense. Not even 5. We finished top 3. Oh, and you want to you going to throw knives at me? The only time that I had an off year was the year 2020. That's a pandemic. If I'm Kellen Moore's representative. And then I'll say my one final bullet that's left in the chamber. If I'm Kellen Moore, I'll walk in there boldly and look the owner in his face, in his eyes, and to say, I deserve to be the head coach of this team. And then they say, why? Why? Because I said, even with the backup in the last 2 years, I'm 5-1. Present to me a better argument. That's Kellen Moore's argument. I'm 5-1 with the backup. Quarterback Cooper Rush. You can't can me. You got to promote me. He can literally go in there boldly and say those things. Back-to-back 12-5 years. Yes, I drew up a great game plan against the Buccaneers, and we would have won. He can literally throw Dak right in front of the bus. We would have won if Dak Prescott make those throws. The issue is Dak, not me. Is that some objective analysis there, ladies and gentlemen? Sally Lawyer, smash them likes. Yeah.
Dracarys.
Right? There's no, that would take away all of the argument. Dak Prescott camp, all they got to say is, hey, man, we got 2 more years. 2 more years. Ricky J said that's facts. Yeah, but Chris gonna say, yeah. Mike McCarthy is 5-1. But no, when you are the offensive coordinator and you trying to keep your job, you gonna say, no, that's on me too. You trying to keep your job. You trying to let people know, look, I did it with the backup quarterback too. I'm 5-1 in the last 2 years. And everybody already bit into the narrative that the only reason why we lost this last game was not due to the Kellen Moore system or his philosophy. We lost this game because of Dak Prescott. If you think I'm lying, go hit up my guy, Big Game James. So it wasn't nothing wrong with the system. It was nothing wrong with his particular scheme. If you represent Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore got the 4-letter, the 3-letter network on his back. Well, with his back. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, mama, uncle, cousin is saying that Dak Prescott is the reason why we lost the game, including the defense. So it's 1,000% Dak Prescott's fault, regardless of whether or not the play was a button hook, a comeback route. You know what I'm saying? We run hitches all day. We refuse to run the ball. It is on Dak Prescott. Ladies and gentlemen, and not who in the 4-letter, the 3-letter network had multiple episodes about, hey, it's Kellen Moore. You know, you got to blame Kellen Moore. Nobody. They say, yeah, he's partially, but fully those on Dak. That's just how it is. Unfortunately. Look, this guy right here, Nola, Boys, Sports, and News, says Dak can't read defense. But unfortunately, he was able to read the Buccaneers defenses, right? He can read Bucs defense, but he can't read the 49ers defense. I can't make this stuff up. You can be the number one, like you can take a team from the top. When he was out, you can literally see that this team was ranked 27th, 29th in offense. He come back mid-season, take the team from the 27th to the 29th offense down to top 1 to damn near top 3 offense, but he can't read. He's the only quarterback with Ray Charles vision. He can't Ray. That brother can't Ray. he can't read at all. He's got the Ray Charles Stephen Wonder vision. So somehow, one way or another, we got to figure this out. At some point, either Kellen Moore is a genius or he's horrible. Dak Prescott, either he's a good quarterback to great or he's below average. But you can't get below average stats when you are in the top tier stat category. I can't sit out here and say I make $50,000 a year, but I'm a six-figure guy. Well, Law, what if six-figure? Hey, man, it's 50,000. You know what I'm saying? And I can't make $150,000 a year and say, hey, I'm only making 30. Then we definitely gonna have these people knocking at the door. FBI, open up! Tax evasion. They'll come and knock on your door. Ask the Chrisleys. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, they in jail somewhere. Dak has Book of Eli vision, according to some of these weirdos. Oh my God! Fatality. He got a no trade clause, though. He got no trade clause, so you can't. Yeah. Kai says Dak can read the Eagles defense well. It's football. You ain't going to be perfect every time. Yeah, he can read the Eagles defense, but he can't read the Niners defense. But it goes back to my point right here, and it goes back to. I don't think Kellen is able to coach up or challenge Dak consistently. What you guys are expecting this team to do is someone who eat nachos, oodles, and noodles and sitting on the couch and say, hey, that person's going to have a six-pack. No. It just don't come that way. You're going to have to grind and work. There's going to be some type of friction. But peer-to-peer, it tends to be not the answer. Why? Because there's only a level of growth that you're going to have. Them boys sitting side by side with each other. Derek Harris says, Law, do you know if Dak has the power to audible? I think that is key also. But also, what are you going to audible to as far as personnel? I gave this analogy before. You have a 6 or 7-year-old son or daughter, and at the dinner table you put a gun and a knife in front of them. Those are bad options for them. Where's the fork? They're just trying to eat food. They ain't trying to kill it. So when you call out a play and both plays are trash, there's just still trash. There's no scheme to it. It's just a bunch of plays. Make it work. And for those who say, man, they're just excuses. Those are just excuses. Go back to what my guy West Coast said. I'm going to have to take this all the way from him. Excuses are facts you don't want to hear. That's just the bottom line. You don't want to hear. The quarterback, I've been saying this for months. I want this quarterback 24 to 27 throwing attempts. Why? Because from my mindset, from me being a person that makes analysis from film, I understand the law of diminishing rates of return. I understand the throwing mechanics of said Dak Prescott. He's not a high-volume throwing type of quarterback. I want Dak Prescott anywhere between those numbers because I know for sure after the 27th or the 28th throw that his drop-off rates increase. More things negative will happen around him. More things, can he win when he throw over 30, 40, 35 to 40 times attempts? Yes, but that's at its max peak. Law of averages will settle in. So I want him between 24 to 27 attempts. If I know this sitting down in his chair, I hope that the people that's getting paid millions of dollars know it. They should know and understand that Dak Prescott, he throws better off of play action. He appears to be more comfortable, or as it relates to looks, under center, not out of shotgun. Sally says, in my opinion, they need to build around Dak and use the talent of the players. What do you think, Law? Yes. That is 1,000% true. I don't think in the 90s we would have one Super Bowl. Not one, if we didn't run the ball. If we didn't have Emmett, who still lead the league as it relates to in the playoff with touchdowns with 19. Not another running back is able to do that. I don't think we win not one Super Bowl without Emmett. The playmaker, Troy, that offensive line, a whole unit. But what people do is they say, take away Emmett, take away the playmaker. Troy, let's do it by yourself. Troy, let's get it. Let's go. Let's pick up 2000 Emmett or 1998 Emmett and pick him up and put him with the young Troy. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They would have to figure out ways to get another running back in. Why? The law of diminishing rates of return would happen and occur. Now, granted, Dak did start it with Ezekiel Elliott. But we can clearly see there's a chart line out there. I ain't going to even pull it up. It's just terrible. Line for line. And I'm not blaming Zeke because it's quite strange to me that the moment Zeke started to decline was the moment we had this new offensive coordinator. Show of hands, if y'all look at Zeke numbers, did it decline when we got this offensive coordinator? Why? Because this offensive coordinator, y'all fail to realize, and I'm not blaming him, because he can only know what he know. He can't know what he don't know. And what he don't know is run formations. He don't know that. This dude is still young. He don't know that. Law, how are you going to tell this man what he don't know? Because he don't got the experiences. He don't. This dude literally was on this team as the backup quarterback. Lost that, became the quarterback coach. Got rapid promotion to being the offensive coordinator. When did he have time to learn plays to run? When did he learn the schemes to go pair up and match up with runs? What, over a weekend? Over a summer break? Over a summer break, this dude's supposed to say, okay, I acquired all of the knowledge and information to run the ball, to know when to run the ball, to understand that I'm going to run, to open up the path for this particular quarterback. No. He's still growing. I believe that by maybe 5 more years, 10 more years from now, he'll be brilliant. Well, Law, Kyle Shanahan, go look at how Kyle Shanahan developed under his father and then went over to Washington and still developed. Go look at Sean McVay on how they learned and to develop. My daughter is very smart, can speak 2 languages. But she ain't finna write my thesis, not at 6. If I had to do one over again, right? She's smart for where she's at. She's brilliant for where she's at. Untapped potentials. But for dog sure, I'm not finna put her into a box and say that's all she will ever know. But I have to be wise and understanding enough to know that, hey, through time and through experiences, she's going to be better and better every year. But how does she get better and better every year? I continue to challenge her. I continue to push her. There's no one that's continued to challenge Dak Prescott nor Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy, how often do we look at games? Do you see Mike McCarthy side by side with Kellen Moore saying, hey, son, you got to do this, you got to do that? No, you don't see that. But shoot, about 10 years from now, shoot, Moore might be that dude. Look, coaches don't age like players, right? Players, they only got a cap. That's just how it is.
Can you give us your evaluation of Kellen Moore's X's and O's and whether he's too conservative, whether he's, what's the problem with Kellen Moore, or where's Kellen Moore really, really good in your eyes? Just give us your OC assessment.
I think you start with what you just said, which is, it's funny because it's top 3 scoring offense in back-to-back years. Usually, you don't say, "Hey, let's get rid of that guy." So, I'm a little tickled by that. They did not have the offensive weapons this year. It's almost you could say it's a testament to his OC ability because, I mean, let's face it. I love Noah Brown, right? Great kid, hard worker, special teams, all that. He's a 4th or 5th receiver. He's a guy, if you lose 3 guys, you can plug him in, he can play all the positions. He shouldn't go out as your number 2 receiver. And effectively, that's what he was this year, right? I mean, Michael Gallup came back. He wasn't close to being what Michael Gallup was a year ago, coming off that knee injury. Zeke Elliott, I mean, we saw what that was. He's got a great name. It's like the Cowboys of the.
Can y'all hear that audio?
There, and you saw these great names on the back of the jersey, right? Oh man, there's Troy Aikman. Oh man, there's Michael Irvin. Oh man, there's this guy. Oh, there's that guy. But they weren't the same players. And Zeke he's just not the same player.
All right, so let me break this down once again. Your talent level, you can coach up to that said talent level, but at some point there's a drop off. It's right, and then you have to rely on scheme. You have to rely on other talents to help elevate. So when he goes over to Noah Brown, he said, "Hey, Noah Brown got his limitations, just like Dak got his limitations. So when you have 2 guys with limitations, just know that there will be a cap right there. There's going to be, hey, this guy hit his ceilings. He can't elevate you from there to here, and nor he can take you from here to here. That's just the bottom line. That's just the reality of it. Law, do you have any truths to it? Well, if you're a 5A football team and you get the chance to play a 1A or a 2A school, I'm talking about high school at this point. High school. When our coach got us down there, we'd say, hey, we finna play this 2A school. But be mindful that you got to play your all. You got to give them your best. And sometimes they would be built up to say, all right, we're gonna give them our best, right? And they may score first. They may be good for the first quarter or such. But eventually we pull off. Eventually we demolish them. We destroy them. Why? Because we just got the most talent. You bully people around when you have all of the talent and you sprinkle in some wisdom and understanding of the game. Just like a lot of people didn't let me say this the other night on the Final Word. When I was talking about Kurt Warner, what I was saying is that, it's cool and all to give the analysis of a player like a Noah Brown or like a Michael Gallup coming off of a knee injury. But none of those boys are equivalent to an Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. Those boys are elite talent that Kurt Warner was throwing to. Elite talent. And Marshall Faulk in the backfield, ladies and gentlemen. Elite talent. And he was able to propel them to get to that Super Bowl because he was such a dynamic quarterback going through his read progression. Yeah. That even the Rams were at the time like, all right, well, sure. We got this talent. We can get rid of you. And did some of the similar things with Mark Bolger until, he got injured and it was just over with from there. On top of that, who on this team is equivalent outside of CeeDee Lamb because he just now entered that room? But you can't put him at Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt right now. He just now entering into that. Those are Hall of Famers. So it's easier to say, hey, man, you supposed to hit this guy. Hey, he ain't supposed to. There's no way I've ever seen Isaac Bruce as I've been watching majority of film my whole life run a route like my guy Michael Gallup ran. I'd never seen it. But I seen Kurt Warner throw some ducks. I seen Kurt Warner throw multiple pick sixes and stuff like that. But then he fell off. I think he went to the Giants, went to another team, and then he finally landed in Arizona. Can somebody let me know who are the wide receivers there? Larry Fitzgerald? and Anquan Bolden. Can y'all let me know what type of wide receivers they are? Put that in the chat. And what he did, he took them to the Super Bowl. I mean, at some point we got to look back and say, all right, the Mandela effect we hit, and this is what happened. The Mandela effect we hit, and people will only think that it was Kurt Warner, that he had made every throw known to man. And they forget about the weapons that he had. Just like a third of you guys will argue me left and right about Peyton Manning. Y'all will argue with me left and right. But it took that man 9 years. 9 years. And he wasn't that good in the playoffs. He was a lot of one and done. And he had Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison in their prime. And he was considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And Tony Dungy, who was a defensive-minded guy. And on top of that, he had a Hall of Fame offensive line. And they ain't even talking about Edgerrin James, who got a gold jacket too. It took that brother 9 years. But I ain't sitting here saying that, we're going to take us 9 years because we in year 7 right now. And I ain't saying that Dak Prescott is equivalent to Peyton Manning. The numbers may be, but I'm not finna go there, right? Because, people are going to go in one ear, out the other. But excuses are facts people don't want to hear. Coach Marv, did Jimmy Johnson change offensive coordinator after our first playoff game in 1991 and Noah Turner to fit his offensive talent and get the best out of Troy, Emmett, and Michael? And did we change the defensive coordinators 3 years ago to get better on defense? Man. Y'all listen to Coach Marv, man. Y'all listen to Coach Marv. Yes. So Cal, remember Eli took Kurt Warner's job. You know what I'm saying? He did. He absolutely did. You know what I mean? It's not about praising. Look, Johnny, bravo. Dak lost the game. It's not about praising Dak Prescott. But these are the facts that you don't want to hear, so you go to excuses. You go immediately to excuses. When I can literally present the knife with the blood on the hands and everything, and you say, well, he didn't cut him. He didn't stab him, But the evidence is right there. I guess if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, huh? Aflac Dak, baby. SG. Appreciate you, man. Oh my gosh, man. 13 years. Yeah. Propaganda. Let's go.
I'm hoping we find out he played through an ACL tear or something, where you say, okay, well, that explains it. He'll be back next year. But, he clearly is a declining player. So you look at San Francisco's offense, right, and their skill position players, and you compare them to what the Cowboys put on the field. I think Kellen Moore may be the genius for getting out of his offense what he did as opposed to Kyle Shanahan.
But schematically, you don't say, this doesn't make sense, and that's off, and this is too conservative, or this is a problem, like with Kellen Moore's schemes.
No, I don't really look at it like that. And there's so many, I hate to say that, I don't want to say different schemes, but for lack of a better word, San Francisco does things totally different than other teams. So many offenses are different. They kind of all come from a little bit of the same place starting out, but then they veer off and they change and they evolve. But hey, a quick example: the interception Dak threw to Michael Gallup. That ball is going to get picked off. That route was run so poorly. I don't care if it's Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes. You throw that ball, it gets picked off every day that ends in Y and twice on Sunday because of the route. Now it's on Dak, and Dak, to his credit, or maybe to a fault, he said, well, I took 3 hitches and I got to get it out quicker. And yes, you'd like it out quicker, but if it was out quicker, it's still intercepted. So anyway, the long and short is ultimately your guy has to beat their guy. You're looking for the one-on-one matchup, right? They rush 4, which San Francisco did. They got to cover 5.
No doubt, no doubt. So I made it back. So he was talking about the INT that Dak Prescott threw. Zeke was open in the flat, or what have you. Now they were parallel. When you look at that play, and I get it, right? You dump it off in the flat. Maybe he can get the 9 to 10 yards or what have you in order to get that first down on 3rd and 9. And one of the things that I would like to say, boy, we crucify our own, right, with this. One hand, we didn't like the dinking and dunking or dinking and Dak. And on the other hand, we do like the dinking and Dak. So we can't have it both ways. If you like the dink and Dak, let me know in the chat. And if you don't like the dink and Dak, let me know in the chat. It's just damn if you do, damn if you don't moment. Now, the INT, in my opinion, that one really was one of the ones that we wish we can all have back. But it goes back to levels of accountability. If I'm the offensive coordinator, and I see my quarterback throwing an INT, I need to see Kellen Moore in on him. I need to see my offensive coordinator letting him know that you can't do that. I need to see plays in pivotal moments designed differently. And on top of that, do you guys think that Dak Prescott is getting that from Kellen Moore? Or is Kellen Moore is pouring upon the information to say, hey, you can't go there with this particular ball? I don't know. But one thing I can tell you, that from this coaching staff, I don't see that these boys are chastising these guys. They're patting them all on the back. They are saying, just like what Troy Aikman said on the video that I got on YouTube, he just going in on the sideline. It's a family-friendly environment. It's coaching issues. More is less. This is Jet D. Appreciate you for your super chat.
That gives them 7 guys to defend. That gives them 2 guys they can double up, right? You got 7 to cover 5. It's a math equation. You find the one-on-one matchup and you go to that guy. But if your guy can't beat their guy in a one-on-one matchup, it's going to be a long day. And I know people say, well, scheme the guy open. And that happens occasionally during a game. And it happens a ton in college, right? You see guys 5 yards open. But you go back to that game. Can you think of a play? I know there was a deep post to Gallup, but can you think of a play in your mind where you say, wow, Dak missed him, open receiver, missed him?
Well, people pointed to the TY play.
I went back and looked at the tape twice, and I love the Dan Orlovsky, here's what you do, and you scheme this, and you're on Twitter. I know you got talked about it.
Talk about that, Bliss.
Right.
And that's great. You're going to show me one play out of whatever, 70.
Right.
And here's the other thing. I've got C.D. Lamb on a linebacker. I don't care if it's Fred Warner. I mean, that's a good matchup.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so the notion that, oh, my God, what's he doing throwing against a linebacker to your best receiver?
Yeah.
Well, that's not such a bad deal. And again, I always say, too, the 2 easy places to play quarterback from are 200 feet in the air, where I get to sit, right, as a broadcaster, and all the other people do, and your living room, where you're on the couch, and you see replay, and you look, and oh, that guy's open over there.
Exactly. But, he's a Dak apologist, I guess. This is Babe Laufenberg. Granted. Dak hit T.Y., take the hit that the blitzer was coming through the A gap, all would have been forgiven, right? But he didn't. Water under the bridge now. So either you guys going to continue to cry about the spilled milk, or, hear me out, figure out ways, solutions to put things around so that spilled milk will not happen again. With this mindset, if the Eagles had the same mindset, they would have did exactly what a last caller I had yesterday. Just tank. You're not going to get anything done. They went into the playoff last year, 9-8, got demoralized. And they said, you know what? Never again. We're going to go out here and make sure that we remove the excuse factor away. They did that. And there's nothing we can go back and forth and talk about on that situation. Nothing we can talk about. Nothing we can talk about with that situation of going out and grabbing multitude of playmakers. That's what this dude just said. I had a show yesterday. Brian Baldinger just said it. We need more weapons. We need more weapons.
But, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot there in that game that Dak did not get to.
Babe, you said there a few minutes ago, Ezekiel Elliott is clearly a declining player. Is Michael Gallup a declining player, or is Michael Gallup just still struggling to bounce back from an injury?
I think it's the latter. Now, let's be honest. He was never a number one receiver.
Sure.
But those injuries, you've all seen them. You come off of an ACL, you play the next year, but you're really not back to yourself until the following year. So we'll see what Michael Gallup becomes this year. But clearly he was not. Again, you don't need to be a genius or look at the tape or any of that to know he wasn't the same guy this year that he was last year.
No doubt, man. Joe says, Law, maybe just move and promote Kellen to assistant head coach. Then we can finally get a real offensive coordinator. Oh, my gosh, man. What the Cowboys look, if Carolina Panthers don't get Kellen Moore, or the Cardinals, or any other team that's now looking for a coach, Denver, whoever it may be that's looking for a head coach, I think this is my thoughts. Because remember, you guys said it's not Kellen Moore, it's Dak Prescott. He's the fault. So if you guys are saying that, I truly believe that the Jones family is looking at that. They are. They're looking at it like, man, just like y'all said that T.Y. Hilton was open, Michael Gallup, he shouldn't have went there. He should have hit Zeke. So you guys are strengthening the case that Kellen Moore is the genius. He didn't lose this game. It's Dak. He's the one. He's the issue. So we should keep Kellen Moore. We should. There's going to be literally news just like this in a few days. The Dallas Cowboys now signed Kellen Moore to a 5-year contract to extend his contract for the rest of the 5 years to see if they can continue to build upon it. Remember, he is the boy genius. He is the wonder. He's the boy wonder. According to all of y'all, just what y'all said. Y'all saying that Dak Prescott is a problem. That is exactly what y'all saying. That is exactly what the 3-letter, the 4-letter network is saying. That Kellen Moore is elite. He's genius. Law, in the last 2 years, when Kellen Moore had to insert his backup quarterback, they're 5-1. Dak Prescott is the issue. He's by far at fault. We would have literally won this game if you benched Dak and started Cooper Rush. That's y'all thinking right now. I can't make this stuff up. Dak is the issue. He's the only problem. If you get rid of not Zeke, he's not the problem. Not the offensive line. Not Terrence Steele being hurt for the rest of the year. It's not his problem. That's Dak's problem. The kicker missing the kick is not his problem. It's not the offensive coordinator problem. That's Dak's problem. He is the problem. So if you get rid of Dak Prescott, we got a Super Bowl in waiting because there will be no more excuses. You get rid of Dak, that's the issue. That is exactly what y'all saying. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. Dak Prescott is the number one issue for the Cowboys not lifting up the Lombardi Trophy this year. Cooper Rush should have been the starting quarterback. That is exactly what you guys saying. No, David Lee. I'm delusional. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, Law. David Lee, no. Because Kellen Moore and Cooper Rush would have won that game, this past game. Dak Prescott is the finite problem. In these last 7 years, how many losing seasons did we have with Dak Prescott? I need to know. Lord, this is the question for fans. Can the Kellen take Dak to the next level? Because every great QB has had the special coach to do that. I don't think he can peer to peer. I don't think that he can. I don't think that they would do that. You know. Yes, indeed. Let's go.
Zeke, on the other hand, I mean, he's taken 2,000 hits, literally, right? You're going to be a declining player. Michael Gallup isn't in that same category in terms of taking physical punishment that diminishes your physical skill.
But you definitely try to find a number 2.
Receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You look at the good teams, and they've got a 2, and most of them have a 3, right? Cowboys this year really didn't have a 2. I mean, would you agree?
No. They had. There's no excuses. There's no excuses. we have a legitimate number 2, and that's Michael Gallup off of an ACL, who didn't play at all in preseason or training camp. But since they paid him, he's a legitimate number 2. According to the people that's in the chat, Michael Gallup is a bona fide number 2. We had the best wide receiver core in the National Football League heading into these playoff games. Noah Brown is a solid stud. It's Dak Prescott. He can't get the ball to those boys. It's Dak Prescott. He's the issue.
Yeah.
You just said Noah Brown. That means they didn't have a 2.
So it makes it harder on Dak, makes it harder on your play caller. It's funny because everybody thinks Kellen Moore loved 12 and 13 personnel, putting all these tight ends on the field, and he didn't have a receiver. Why do you want to bring their nickel guy in to cover your third receiver when their nickel guy is going to be better than your third receiver? So I think, Kellen was, to me, a little bit hamstrung. And the job that he did, again, I will take the other side of that and say, look at the skilled talent that they had, and at times, couldn't really run the ball. And you're third in the NFL in points scored. I mean, that's pretty good.
Babe Laufenberg here on the Fan.
Sorry, I just got to say quickly,
His starters in longer damn sure sped stuff to make him sound correct. No, that's the truth. That's the truth. Because that's what y'all said. That's what y'all said. So if you got to pick one, it should be Kellen Moore, because we literally won that game if it wasn't for Dak Prescott. That's just the reality of it. He should have hit Ezekiel Elliott. We would have been able to advance for the first down on 3rd and 9. I don't know how we got to 3rd and 9 in the first place, but somebody can recall me on how we got to 3rd and 9. Did we try to run the ball, and then we got 1 yard, and then we tried to throw the ball, and then it was incomplete, then it was 3rd and 9. That's how that goes. But neither here nor there. If we hit Zeke, get that first down on 3rd and 9 on our own side of the field instead of it being an INT by Dak Prescott, we advance, we move a little bit further. Then San Francisco wouldn't have been able to score those 3 points, right? And then we probably would have scored maybe 3 or maybe 7. And then on the other interception on 2nd and 2, going empty on 2nd and 2, that was a brilliant, genius plan to go 2nd and 2, spread them out wide, 5 wide on 2nd and 2. If Dak Prescott would have just leaned forward and ran for those 2 yards or hit CeeDee Lamb the moment he stopped his feet, then we wouldn't be having these conversations. So is Dak Prescott the 1,000% fault in this particular game and for our shortcomings last year?
We were flying back from, San Jose, technically San Jose, not San Francisco, but after the game. And Christy sits next to me on the charter. And as we were taking off at whatever time it was, I said to Christy, you know what I really hate about this? I said, we are going to have to talk about Dak for another year.
Yeah.
Is he elite? Where is he ranked?
Yep.
And Peter King comes out with taking Brock Purdy, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Well, that was the final question.
Yeah.
What's his next step? Like, you know, if you were quarterback coaching him, or they just asked you in the hallway, you know, where do we take it from here? Is it reasonable to have a discussion that they should look for an upgrade or a way out, possibly, in the thought that Dak has hit his ceiling and this as far as the Cowboys can get with him, because he was the number one reason that they lost that 49er game? What's his next step
what's
of
next
development?
It's a very good question, and it's one that organizationally, I think you have to take a good, hard look. You can't just say, "Oh, we're good here."
Yeah.
You got to figure out, can this guy take that next step? And it's a difficult thing. But I'll quickly look at the two teams in the NFC Championship game, and they're not there by fluke. I think if we objectively looked at the NFC and said who are the two best teams, I believe the two best teams are playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Sure. Yes.
The quarterbacks aren't supposed to be there. They drafted Jalen Hurts when they had Carson Wentz and gave him a big contract. Obviously, they traded up to get Wentz at 2 and all that stuff. And you're like, what are you doing drafting Jalen Hurts? And then, boom, look what happens. San Francisco, same thing. They draft a quarterback. I don't know if Brock Purdy will be the long-term answer necessarily, but if I were coaching that team, he's certainly starting for me next year in training camp.
Yeah.
He's going to have to lose a job. But they both had backup plans. They also both made bold moves in the offseason and then during the season.
Really?
You know, Philadelphia trades to get A.J. Brown. San Francisco trades to get Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, really?
So it may be time for the Cowboys. I know when free agency starts and all that, that's a time for them to sit back and, you know, let everybody else do their thing, and then they go to the bottom of the scrap heap and find the leftovers. Well, maybe time to make a bold move.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You know, and that was the end of that. You know, I can't make this stuff up, y'all. Oh, now will be the time to make the bold moves. I think that, you know, when the time was prevalent, and we've been so gung-ho on, we were right, we did the right move. There's two guys that I extremely wanted. Two guys. And y'all can bury me all you want. Y'all can talk bad about me all you want. But those two guys, I truly believe would have been the proper move for us. And granted, I like what T.Y. Hilton did, but that was after the trade deadline. But my two guys would have been either DJ Moore or DK Metcalf. I think that those two guys would have changed. Not saying you get both of them. One of those two guys. And I know that somebody wanted Tyler Lockett or what have you. I know I want somebody with elusiveness that got that little dog grit to him. And I think that we wouldn't even be having this conversation right about now. We wouldn't. We wouldn't be even talking about the slumps with wide receivers and stuff. But the Cowboys know how to sell things so great and get us to believing that, hey, these things will work, like the James Washington, right? The Jalen Tolbert. Man, y'all fought me when I said, man, this offseason, let's go ahead and get DK Metcalf. Y'all fought me tooth and nail. You know what I'm saying? Y'all done beat me down and said, Law, we good. You know, stop liking other players on this team and stuff. I don't have me go back and rewind the tapes. You know what I mean? I think that those two. Now, I get it. Odell Beckham, coming off of a ACL deal too, we got to at least assume that he would have been kind of similar to Michael Gallup. But here's the thing: even with Michael Gallup, I'm not done with Michael Gallup. I understand that it's going to at least take him until next year because the dude didn't have training camp nor preseason. Now, granted, when you see what Chris Godwin did for the Tampa Bay, those are just two different type of wide receivers anyhow, right? Two different type of movement. Michael Gallup game was, he wasn't this nuanced route runner guy. He was good at the top of his route, and he was good pressing his route, and he was good on the 50-50 ball. But when you have those type of injuries, it takes away from that. And if you guys remember, I did the video and I posted it, about Michael Gallup and his injuries. And I said, man, one thing I know for sure is that's going to take away from some of his explosiveness. And I showed y'all a chart on all of his injuries on one leg, and I said, man, you're going to pay that man, and I was looking at it like last year, Cedric Wilson from a stat line gave us more production than Gallup. The dude had, six touchdowns last season? Pretty good. Almost 800-some odd yards. And he had that X factor that he can throw the ball in the backfield. I think that he was a good component to us last year. But Gallup was the guy that I missed in the playoff because he was the guy that was the red zone guy. Short area quickness was the guy. I think I got it. Let me see if I can pull it up once again. And I showed y'all this. Y'all like, man, ooh, Lord, that chart go hard. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it again. Go back. There we go. Y'all said, ooh, Lord, that chart go right there go hard, man. And it gave a breakdown of all of his injuries. And I said, man, it's all on the same leg. Explosiveness would be there. Chances of durability, a 5 factor. You know what I'm saying? So here's his injury history, and it breaks it down. He had this in 2020. He had this in 2021. He had this one in 2019 and 2022. And then we talked about his foot and everything happened before he even got there. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember that episode? I went over his injury and his capabilities and things that he's going to bring to the table. And I said, man, it'll be better for the Cowboys to not add all of the pressure on CeeDee Lamb, and let's just go out there and get a known commodity. Y'all ain't feeling me, man. Y'all like, man, Lord, man, you lying, dog. You lying. Just go back and watch those episodes, man. But I think that when we heard news, that's the website to listen to the full interview from 105.3 The Fan. I put it in the chat area. But when you go back, ladies and gentlemen, and look at all of the things that we've been fighting over, all this season, been the same thing. Linebacker, we've been talking about linebacker. We've been talking about another DB. And we've been talking about offensive line and wide receivers. And if I would put them in order, it was wide receiver. It was offensive lineman first, wide receiver, linebacker, DB. Those were our doubts. Those were our things that we had reservations on. A lot of people were still high on Tristan Hill. A lot of people were still high on the reinforcement that we had in the draft with that D-tackle stuff, right? And a lot of people, they fought me tooth and nail over the Gallimore situation. And I said, you know what? I like Gallimore, but he's been not living up to his expectations. And I pulled up this right here. I think he had only 1 sack for the whole year. Let me see. 1 sack for the whole year. He's been a shell of himself. He couldn't give us 3 or 4. But so when I was banging on the table saying, all right, if he's going to play 3-tech, you might as well go get Sue. Y'all remember that episode? Lord, Sue ain't nobody, man. He long in the tooth. He won't do anything. Let me just pull up. I don't even know what Sue did. But I truly believe Sue did more than Gallimore. And I'm not sullying Gallimore, but I'm just bringing up facts that y'all gonna turn into excuses that y'all don't want to hear. That's what excuses are. Facts that you don't want to hear. Pressures, 8 pressures. 1 hit, 6 hurries. Let me pull up Sue. I don't even know how to spell the man's name, but it should pull up from here. He got 2 sacks. Pressures, 9 pressures. He did more with less snaps than my guy did all this year. All this year. 6 stops, 2 sacks, 7 hurries, 9 pressures. And he was only there for a half of the year. We rotating Gallimore in, and he can't even get close to the quarterback. And this man is about 40. How old is Sue? Gallimore, they played him at they looked at his size and girth. But coming out of Oklahoma, we know that he was a guy that can shoot up field, man, get to the quarterback, right? And he was wide. Not that much big, but he's just a wide dude. He's still a 3 tech, in my opinion. They got him playing a D tech. It ain't happening, fam. Hey.
Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thug
There
my
are
way
7
on
participants
this
in the
side. Keep it
conference.
super thug
All
my
participants
way
are
on
muted.
this side.
Please announce yourself.
Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real. Whether we East Coast or
From the 206, you're live.
Hey, what up, Long? How you doing, brother?
Doing well, man. Talk to me, man.
Man, I got something to say. I was talking to the guys in the chat, everybody, and I've been trying to get this out of my mind. It was hard to get on your show because it's so packed. You got very popular. You got like 1,000 people trying to get on your show.
No, right?
But what I want to say, the problem with this thing, brother, it's the blame game. We can't make no excuses for nobody. If they give me a paycheck, I gotta perform. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line for everybody. Okay?
No doubt.
The problem is, if that Kellen Moore, since they're gonna kiss his ass, I call Jerry Jones Donald Trump now. He's a Donald Trump of my team. I hate it, and I've been a Cowboy fan ever since I'm born. I'm about to go on 60 years old, and it hurt my heart that I got a fucking Donald Trump running this team now.
Well, Donald Trump don't hide his mouth, man. He gonna speak what's on his heart, man. And I don't think that Jerry Jones is worthy. See, the difference between Donald Trump and Jerry. Donald Trump would have been saying, like, I can't stand Jimmy Johnson. He's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? He would at least said, I would prefer someone to tell me the truth than to lie to kick it. Jerry do a lot of that not. You like Donald Trump, if we were to lose in the playoff, Donald Trump would have been he would have cussed out somebody. He would have been on the press conference with 2 or 3 gold helicopters yesterday.
You're right. Donald Trump would have fired fucking Kellen Moore in front of everybody. Okay, you're right. Let me take you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Donald Trump. You're right. Donald Trump would have fired fucking Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, I telling everybody, we got Callaway on the sideline. That's fast. We got receivers. I don't want to hear about the receivers no more. We did last year. Remember the receiver we had last year? Where we go? They know our routes. If you see the plays, because when Coach Moore come on here, he gonna tell you they know our plays. They told you. They know the play. So we need to go to a West Coast offense. I would bet my money, and I told all my friends, if Dak Prescott had a West Coast offense, I guarantee you he'll probably have about 4 interceptions every year. And he'll probably throw for about 30 touchdowns and probably run for about 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, and the West Coast offense on 2nd and 2, if they decided to do that, it would have been a drag route instead of a stop pivot choice route. But I feel what you're saying, fam. Thank you for calling in, Chief. Got one more thing. Let me hear you say it, or what you got, man?
All I want to say, how about them Cowboys? And please, I need to tell all the fans, since they firing everybody, look like Kellen Moore about to be our new coach next year.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, MJ. Cool. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, there's a lot of F-bombs, so I'm going to get a yellow message, man. If y'all can, just do your boy a huge favor. I don't mind you swearing, but the F ones and I think the B word, the BITCH one, is bad for Facebook, and the N word is bad. So if y'all can use another vernacular, not saying how you use your mouth, because I know I get upset and I use mine in a negative way too. But if y'all can, and for your boy, man, because we do got kids watching, by the way. So if you can hook a brother up with with some variations of other words like bull sugar and pluck instead of the F one. All right, Dr. Kell, you're live.
What's going on, brother? Just calling from the land, calling from the island where all the women wear shorts 365 a day, brother. Hey, man. Hey, so I am just kind of enjoying the show as usual, man. But we have some delusional Cowboy fans, man. It's just annoying.
Okay.
Having said all that, man, you and Laufenberg stole my thunder, bro. So look, man, like I told you the other night, it takes about, as a licensed radiologist, I know this, man. It takes about 2 years to heal from an ACL tear and MCL, PCL. It takes about a good 2 years, man. The only player that I've seen that really dogged it out coming back was Peterson. He was the only one, and that was like by the grace of God, man. It takes time, man. This whole Kellen Moore and Dak thing. Look, yeah, they both have some things to work out, man. But this team went 12-5, and this is what our fans don't understand with doggone Noah Brown as the number 2 receiver. Come on, man. Let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. You're a licensed radiologist, right? Correct. Uh-huh.
And if you don't mind me asking, are you still in that process of gaining more and more information, or you already got your degree and everything?
Actually, what I'm doing on the island is actually teaching. I'm teaching, but I have worked in hospital settings. So right now, I just came over to the island to teach because, they paying some money.
Oh, so they paying. I ain't going to dive into that. But what I want to say is, Dr. Q, is this for an analogy. Was your teacher that taught you was 3 years older than you, or how long have they been doing it, or how young? What's the age gap? And I'm not using age as a deal, but I'm using
Mm-hmm.
experiences, right? So how much older was your professor or the person that taught you?
A couple of my professors, depends on the class.
Depending on the class,
them,
right?
It depends on the class. Like when I came through medical school, my oldest teacher, let's say my pathology teacher, he was like clearly hitting 70. And then you have like the micro teachers, they may be in their 40s. Mm-hmm. So they're typically I would say on an average they're about at least 50 because they've already have done like hospital setting work, and so some of us kind of like, I want to get out of this environment. I actually want to go teach. Mm-hmm. And so some doctors actually teach.
Right.
Teach particular classes.
Yeah. Right. So what I'm implying is that you only know how much you know. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to another level without knowing that you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, brother. You are speaking facts. But I wanted to, and like I told you, every time I call in to you, man, I'm going to say, we need those dog players. So again, I'm going to address this, and a lot of our fans, they don't look at this through a certain lens, man. They just don't. Mm-hmm. When you look at the Eagles and those teams, those 4 teams that are in this tournament remaining, you have Quinn, you have Sue, and you have the other kid they just drafted from University of Georgia. These players are not even getting playing time. So can you imagine all 3 of those players I just mentioned to you can go to other teams and start? But what our fans don't understand is they want to sit there and they want to blame Dak. They want to blame Kellen Moore. Our Cowboy fans, you need to be blaming the Joneses because you cannot hustle backwards. You can't go pick a player up to change the face of your team late November, December. It's just not going to work, man. While we're doing that, the Eagles are bringing in people early September, off season. They bringing in players. I mean, I'm talking like superstar players, or at one time superstar players. But we wait and we hustle backwards to bring a player in, thinking that they're going to be the end all player to take us over the top. I go back to the OBJ thing. Yeah, it sounds nice, but again, I go back to that 2-year thing, man. It takes about 2 years to heal. But what do the Joneses do? They go out and they still want to sign these players. They still want to sign these players to multiple amount of money. Now, I bet you're down to a donut here, brother. Don't be surprised if they say we're going to sign LVE to a 5-year deal. Don't be surprised because he did play well. But see, this this is the way the Joneses think. They're like, oh, okay, this guy he's playing his last year of his contract. Now he wants to break out and play good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and sign him for 3-4 more years without looking at the big picture. So that's the mistake that we made. That we make is that we constantly pay injured players, and we pay them too soon. You can't pay a player that soon. You got to see what's going to happen. But hopefully, man, they'll get it together. I'm not going to sit up here and say bring other coaches in, because I just think when your team goes 12-5 like that, man, it's just minor tweaks. It's minor tweaks, man. And then in our case is just getting the players in. You've got to get players in. You can't wait to do it in December. Cannot wait to do it in December, man, because everybody's moving fast and not early.
Yeah. So logically, you would say, all right, because we know how the Joneses operate. They're going to protect their decisions. So knee-jerk would be, all right, get rid of Kellen Moore. Let's tank for next year. Well, you got to look back at it and say, okay, he's still a young, developing offensive coordinator, and these are the reasons why Dak Prescott didn't excel, and this is what they are saying about as far as their own independent homework. So the best option would be is surround his team with more and more weapons. That would be the best option. Unless you want to rip it out and say, okay, let me bring in another offensive coordinator, which the Jones family don't operate that way.
Exactly. See, my thing is, it would be different if this team had finished 7-10, or 8-10, 8-9. It'll be different. But man, think about it. What Laufenberg said earlier, this team is finishing 12-5 with only one real legitimate receiver.
Yep.
They're playing this year. Yep. I mean, think about that, man. I mean, that you got to give them some credit. Like I said, Dak and Kellen Moore, they just have to tweak some things, go back to the drawing board, see what's going on, get those players in, and we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right once they get those players in. That's a bet.
Yes, indeed, man. I appreciate you, Dr. Q.
Okay,
Thank
brother.
you, man.
Okay, man. Right. Okay, you guys take care, man. Nice talking to you.
My tide on me next time, man.
All right, boss.
Hey, I'm for real, man. I need to see what Al and Dr. Q on, man. But, hey, my ties will be on me, man. Brown says, Law, he's spitting the truth. Stay off aisle 8 for bargains, And bargain deals can come out to be good. They can. But you can't depend on them completely, We can't. The best time to bring in a T.Y. Hilton would have been this offseason, before the season kicked off. But he had other things. So when he said no, you kick the can and go somewhere else. James Washington, the moment he got hurt before training camp, you're looking at it like, hey, he long in the tooth. The probability of him getting hurt again is very high. So when he went, look, James Washington, when he got hurt before training camp with his foot, and then when he got out of training camp and he was working the cords and ropes, and then he eventually got a chance to practice and he broke his foot or what have you, that should have been a sign, because the grand creator will give you a little signs before things happen, right? So that should have been an ultimate sign of like, all right, cool. What I'm going to do here is now look for a wide receiver. Not sell Dennis Houston, not sell the other guys, because they don't have the experiences. You have to make sure, and then you couldn't lean on hope, because we haven't seen Michael Gallup run a single route. So we were leaning on hope. We were leaning on hope. We were like, man, we hope when Michael Gallup get back, he will be the same Michael Gallup he was before the injury. Let me know if I'm wrong. Turpin don't need to go. Turpin, man. He was a rookie this year. We got Coach Marv that's live. Talk to me.
What's going on, Law, man? I had to take a little break from Cowboy land for a little bit to try to, handle some issues or some ongoing things, as well as just try to get a feel about, get away from the blame game.
Right.
I still see it there. Let me vent on three things, man. First, about the game. It's about, Dak did not play well, and the two teams basically were equal teams, they made the plays, and we didn't.
Right.
A lot of talk is about Dak Prescott, but there was pivotal plays in that game. Our defense played well, but they didn't make the plays. Diggs dropped an interception right in his hands that they would never have scored that touchdown.
True.
And we got a holding call where it could have just been a field goal.
Yeah.
Off of that.
Off of that, yeah, that was a terrible one right there. Yeah,
Dak threw an interception.
Yeah.
We let them drive down the field before the half to get a field goal.
That hurt more than anything, man. Clock management came back to hunt us on that one.
So there's blame going around that we don't. But the money thing is to jump on the quarterback. And I'm saying the quarterback didn't play well, but I don't think we made the game easier. We didn't make the game easier for our quarterback. We made the game harder. And in any sport, your job as coaches to make the game easier and let your talents of your players push forward. And now, moving on, what's happening now? What's happening now is that we are on our quarterback. We are on our system. We are on our quarterback. We are on our system. But let's be honest about this, Law.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I think Zach Taylor. I think he is the overall head coach, but I don't know the offensive coordinator though.
San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers, and what I'm getting to is all these great ones. They say are a franchise quarterback. There is no mention about who's their offensive coordinator, because when the offense does well, it's the quarterback that got them to a number one offense or a great offense.
Yeah.
But in Dallas, every time we do well as an offense, Kellen Moore is in his bag. Every time it goes bad, Dak Prescott is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how this whole thing has been going for the longest. And now we are in a situation, and it gets to what do we do? We always say, well, let's give suggestions. I don't want to be one to complain, but I'll have any suggestions.
Right.
And let's think about it in this suggestion.
Okay, I'm listening to
I
you.
put it in your super chat that in 1991, the Dallas Cowboys went to their first playoff experience and they lost when they was going to reemergence. And that Jimmy Johnson did a crazy thing. He got rid of his offensive coordinator, and he brought in North Turner because he brought in a coordinator that was going to maximize the talents that he had. And if you look at the documentary, when they talked about when they won, they talked about Noel came in and he maximized us and got the best out of Troy. He analyzed what Troy did well. He analyzed what Emmett does well and what Michael does well and what all the collective parts did well to maximize their talent.
But Coach, Coach, before you elaborate more on that point, can you explain to all of the people what was been rumblings about Troy at that time?
Oh, the rumblings about Troy has been the same rumblings. This even go farther than that. See, this is not new that people kill the quarterback. People said Roger Staubach couldn't win the big game.
He couldn't.
They crushed Roger Staubach saying he couldn't win the big game. You know what I mean? Playoff period Roger had before he won. They say Tom Landry couldn't win the big game. Roger couldn't win the big game. They say that Troy Aikman was not a better quarterback than the Jim Kellys and Dan Marinos and the Steve Youngs at that time. He couldn't throw for 300-400 yards and 5 touchdowns and dominate the game passing.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Johnson said himself he was not going to allow Troy Aikman to throw the ball all around the field. Didn't say he didn't.
He said he couldn't do it. Yeah.
He knew that wasn't. He knew that wasn't Troy's game, and if he did that, is more times that Troy would make mistakes or put him in a bad situation than he would do good. And he knew the temperature of his team, and he needed to have an offensive coordinator that knew the temperature of his team and let them play at that temperature all the time, because he knew they'll be more successful that way than trying to do something that someone else does. And you know something? The Cowboys did that with defense. People talk about bringing in players, Law, but you could bring in a whole lot of players. But if you don't know how to utilize them, you don't know what their real skill sets is, you don't know how to maximize their skill set, it's just like bringing in nothing because you're not going to get it to its full potential. And if we talk about bringing in receivers, Tony Pollard was at this team for 4 years, and we just started using him, and we still, in this year, didn't utilize him to his full potential.
Nope.
So what do we think we're going to bring someone else in, receiver or tight end, or bring anybody else, and we're going to get them to their full potential? And last, Law, let's think about this, and this is a real, what my suggestion is. On defense 3 years ago, the Cowboys organization said they didn't bring, when they brought McCarthy in here, they didn't bring none of the defense. They didn't bring Rod Marinelli back. They said that they were going a different route because our defense in some cases was okay. This is before we had the bad season.
Right.
It was okay, but in pivotal moments, it let us down. And people around the league were saying how stale our defense was and how much it was figured out. So we did two things. We brought in a new philosophy, and the first person we brought in didn't work out, but we brought someone else in, and then we added pieces of players to that new philosophy, fresh and new, and look what our defense is now. Man. It is time for an offensive scheme change of leadership. This has been the same offense basically since Jason Garrett started here when Linehan came in 2014.
Yeah.
And this offense hasn't changed philosophy. It hadn't changed terminology. It hadn't changed. And then when you see it happen, it doesn't happen against some of the weaker teams. It happens when you get to a coordinator and you get to the biggest moments and then you have no other way to go. The question is, can this guy take Dak to the next level? And sometimes Dak may not know what other ways you can do it. The great Tom Brady had 4 different offensive coordinators at New England that molded him in to who he is now. Dak has just had one philosophy since he's been there. So to get to the next level, we are 12-5 team. We got enough talent. If we want to tinker, we have to change our philosophy. Just
no doubt, Coach. I appreciate you so much. I thank you. That's Coach Marv, y'all. Put y'all hands together for Coach Marv, man. Great call. Great observations. And it's confusing, right? Is it 4 or is it 3? Law, do you think it's Mike McCarthy? You think if Mike McCarthy went to Jerry and told him, either we can get a new offensive coordinator or I can walk, that's it, would that work? I don't think people will walk away from money, right? People say for the love of money is the root of all evil. But if you read a little bit further within the context of that wording there, it says money answereth all things. It don't say a few things. And money, it will always be the deciding choice on where you do things in life as it relates to your career and your path. A lot of people say, well, it's not about the money. Those are the people that's not making the money. When you make the money, you're going to say, hey, it's about the coins. It's about that dime. And I need the dime in order to elevate the things I'm trying to do. So Mike McCarthy, I don't think that he is of that kind of caliber of person to say, you know what, I'm going to walk away. Because if he was that type of person, he would have literally walked over there and said, I don't like option routes. And therefore, by me not liking those option routes, and if we win or lose is on me, then I'm going to be the one that's going to call these plays. I'm going to be the one to do what I want to do. Right? And that's just how it is. If you don't like a certain thing, why continue to do it and complain about it when you continue to do it? So that should be the thought track right here. I got Spock. Can you save me? You're live. Spock. All right. We got my guy, Deonde from the 316.
What's going on, Law? What's happening?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me.
Man, listen, I've been about this since training camp. Kellen Moore needs to go, period, point blank. Because here's the thing. The basic fundamentals of any coaches, and even when you in business and you a trainer, your job is to find a way to relate to your employees or the ones under you. I know, me personally, it's hard for me to take direction from somebody who's still wet behind the ears and can't even grow a mustache.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right. I feel exactly what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't lived like you don't have the experience nor the wisdom.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's Kellen. That's what I believe. Dak is looking at Kellen like an equal, if even.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? There's probably a button ahead as far as just I'm gonna run this play just because I know it ain't gonna work.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Versus a seasoned OC. You get a seasoned OC one because you ain't seen Kellen really jump in Dak shit at all. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So you get you a seasoned OC, one that's not afraid to meet him at the sideline when he's coming off and grab him by the face mask on some Bill Parcells type shit.
But here's the thing, though, and I appreciate your point on this. If you get a seasonal OC, it got to be someone from not Kellen Moore's tree, but from Mike McCarthy's tree. It got to be somebody who thinks. Yeah, it have to be. It had to be somebody that can blend well with Mike McCarthy. In my opinion, because it will still be the same thing. Will it not? You know,
that is true.
Like if his philosophy core is, hey, I like West Coast, offense, then you can't just go bring in somebody who does the digit system, right? And then that's still going to be confusion. It will still be unequally yoked. You guys not going to be on the same page.
Okay, well then bring the gasoline and let's burn it all down and bring in Sean Payton.
No, that's another one. You can get the gasoline can and hit the repeat button. The what you call that? The destruction button, and just say we burn this thing down to the ground. We bring in Sean Payton, and then you would say, "I give you Sean Payton. I give you 3 years. See if you can match what this coach just did." That'll be the other philosophy. But if I'm the look, here's the craziest thing though. If I'm the owner of the team, I don't have to explain to nobody. I wouldn't have to say to nobody. If I want to bring back Parcells, I bring back Parcells. If I want to elevate Kellen Moore to be the head coach, I do that. If I want to fire Mike McCarthy and bring up Sean Payton, I should be able to do that. It's my team.
Here's my rebuttal to that. It's your team, but you 80.
What'd you say? Yeah, I'm 80. Yeah, I'm 80.
It's your team, but you 80. So you gotta really ask yourself: do I want to see a Super Bowl before I go see my maker?
Right. But that's the answer he will have to do, right? Unfortunately,
exactly.
He gonna have to do that.
To let him hang.
He gonna have to let him hang, man.
Offseason, Jerry needs to let him hang. He needs to go all in.
Go all in, man. Shoot.
Because like you say, ain't no salary cap on coaches.
Ain't none. We shouldn't even be talking about coaches right now. Ain't no salary cap as relates to that. Ain't none. I appreciate you, Deonde, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
Take it easy, Cowboy Nation.
Oh, before you go, man, you see that picture on my screen?
No, because I made sure I turned it off while I was on the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, put in the comment, is it 3 or 4? Let me know. Thank you, man. Salute, bro.
All right, bet.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we going to get to y'all, man. I appreciate you. I got Brandon from the 815. You're live.
What's up, Lau?
Nothing much, man. Talk to me, man. Is it 3 or is it 4 on this picture right here?
I'm not even looking. I'm on the line.
Oh, you on the line? No doubt, man. What talk to me. What's on your heart, man?
look, I know it pains Dak fans to hear this, but you guys got to stop trying to do this. Like, I think Dak fans are looking for a scapegoat. And I'm not saying that I haven't heard some Dak fans say Dak needs to play better, but that's a given. You seen it. You can't argue that. But so what you say, y'all will say that, but then you'll say, well, it's Kellen Moore. So was Kellen Moore not the offensive play caller these last 2 years? We've been 12-5. These last 2 years, with Dak has been the quarterback in the regular season, we've been a top offense. But for some odd reason now, like it's all Kellen Moore fault. Like,
well, let me ask you this though. Well, let me ask you this: how do you view Kellen Moore? Is he elite? Is he the elite one? Because out of these last 2 years, when the quarterback was healthy, they finished number one in offense and points and scoring. So is that elite Kellen Moore, or is that pretty much average Dak? Which one is it? Because two things can't be true, right? So where do you place Kellen Moore?
I look, I'm definitely not gonna come out here and defend Kellen. Like, I don't think Kellen Moore is like a great play caller or a great offensive coordinator. I think he's in the making, but there clearly he has had games where he's called good games. Clearly, right. Dak has had good games where he's played well.
So not to cut you off, but to cut you off with that, you said that he is in the making of becoming probably a great offensive coordinator, right? So in becoming in the making of that, would that also constitute for inconsistencies? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Kellen Moore, he got the throwing bug too much, but right. I think it's a product of Dak. You was having a video that showed Dak and Kellen Moore in the same, like, I guess a pre-draft meeting or something.
Right,
and
right here. Yeah.
So you think Dak in the back of his mind, like, well, Kellen Moore said throw it here, so I got to throw it here. Man, come on, we got to cut that out. Once Dak is on the field, it's Dak operation. Does Kellen Moore call the plays? Yes. But like, I think we got to see where it's going. But I also want to say something about Michael Gallup before I go.
Go ahead.
Is Michael Gallup better than Tyler Boyd, the third receiver on the Cincinnati Bengals? Yes or no?
When healthy, I think he is, but not right now. Not right now. Tyler Boyd, I don't think he's coming back from a Achilles tear. But I like Tyler Boyd, though. By the way, I think he's pretty dynamic.
But I guess my point is, to me, even if Michael Gallup didn't tear his knee up, and Michael Gallup has made plays for us, I think that contract it wasn't needed. I didn't even get it. Like.
Right. You know what? You got me looking now. I'm pulling up Tyler Boyd's production in the last 3 years. Tyler Boyd been better than Michael Gallup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to say it because you know how Cowboy fans are.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest now. Tyler Boyd is the third receiver, and my point is that contract was not needed. I'm not saying Michael Gallup didn't deserve to get paid, but that contract was unwarranted. Like, we could have got more service. We can get serviceable players, like, with less money. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know if you can see what Law's showing, but in your spare time, look up Tyler Boyd's stats and look up Michael Gallup's stats. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I appreciate you for calling in, man. And if we want to play the stat game, last year Cedric Wilson had better stat numbers. But what happened here is we paid Michael Gallup based upon the expectations, and we paid him based upon also that he was going to recover to get back to where he was. I think that the way Michael Gallup, I think he brings a lot to the table. I'm not putting no negative shine on him. I hope that next season Michael Gallup can emerge as that guy for us. But hopefully the Cowboys can look at Michael Gallup as a strong number 3 and get a legitimate other number 1 or 2 in here to pair up with CeeDee Lamb. I appreciate you, bro.
How about them Cowboys, man? Dak Prescott, you are who I thought you was.
Yes, indeed. He wasn't one and done. But I appreciate y'all, man. But you guys get what I'm saying. I hope all is well. Mr. 316 said the picture is a perspective you can choose to see, 3 or 4, depend on your point of view, basically, you're trying to make to fit your argument. Yes, indeed. So he's talking about this picture. I appreciate you, my guy. This picture right here. It's depending on which side of the argument you're on. And one can argue that this picture is showing 3 logs, right? And you sitting there saying it's 3. It's 3 all day. And the other side, you can say, hey, it's 4. It's 4, right? It's 4. Boyd has Burrows throwing him the ball also, not Dak. I feel you on that, but Boyd number's been solid even before Burrows got there. So can you explain that number away? It's something to do with this right here. Shout out to Eastside Harold. He said Dink and Dak has lost to the Snow Bunny. It's all over for him, you know. Y'all let me know because I can't see my guy, the multi-millionaire Eastside Harold's logo. Let me know in the chat. Eastside, do he still have Deshaun Watson as his pitcher ID? Do he still believe that Deshaun Watson playing for the Texans? Y'all let me know in the chat because I can't see his beautiful logo there. Y'all let me know if he's still perpetrating as someone else as a Deshaun Watson. Are you Deshaun Watson? You know what I mean? And you didn't like the fact that you moved and got traded to the Cleveland Browns. You know, when I see somebody, and I'm telling you out of love, man. I want to tell you, I just think that when a person use another man's logo or ID as theirs, that's kind of like you got to man that up a little bit. That's Deshaun Watson's photo. Can you use your own photo? Because that dude don't play. He don't represent the Texans no more. And you representing him. And that could be some, you know, you got to man that up a little bit. You got a whole nother man as your profile picture. Come on, man. And he's no longer playing for the team. So that's kind of like, I'm not finna say it, but it's kind of like you got to man that up just a little bit. You know, you got to man it up, Eastside Harold. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, him downstairs, you know. You know, do you have a Deshaun Watson bedspread too? You know, you know, emotional damage. Hey man, you know, I get it though. You love Deshaun Watson, but as a grown man, because I think you are a grown man, it's time for you to take that profile picture down, man. That's kind of sweet. You know what I mean? That's kind of on the sweet side, man. Him downstairs. I mean, you got the bedspread with Deshaun Watson in his 20s. I don't know how old you are, Eastside, but if he's still in his teen, then that would be a more comfortable situation. What you got on that, Trey? You live.
Hey, y'all. How everyone's doing? Hey, Brandon. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had the question to ask, you know, the coach that they had fired, right? So one that he was under McCarthy or whatever. Okay, so one of those coaches, he was the why was he a defensive coach when he was an offensive person? Like, how can you put a coach in a position that's not even a position that you work with? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, why would Why would I go and be a defensive coach when I know I'm an offensive coach? That don't make sense to me. So why did they even hire that guy for that coach position anyway as a defensive coach when he was an offensive coach? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Who for who? For which team?
For Dallas. What was that guy's name? It was one guy they let him go.
All right.
But I'm trying to figure out why did they even hire him for that position anyway when he wasn't that type of coach? Like, why would you put Kellen Moore on defense when he's not a defensive coach? And why would you put Dan Quinn on offense when he's a defensive coach? You see what I'm trying to say? Like, that's weird to me. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know, Trey. You got me on this one. Is it a trick question? I don't know. I don't know, sweetheart. But what other point you have?
On that picture that you got with the 3 and the 4, it just depending on, like you said, what side you on. Because where the one that's pointing at is 4, it's actually 4. You can count the 4 blocks.
Right.
But then when you're on the other side and he's pointing at it, you can see only 3. 1, 2, 3. So everything is like a perception. You know what I'm saying? It's what you see. Everybody ain't going to see the same thing. Like, some people probably see 5 sticks down there. If you keep blinking, you might see 8. I'm just saying. It's the perception part of it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like Kellen Moore needs to, I don't know. He needs to ump himself up enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, he young. Him and Dak really kind of grew together. And they friends. They more friends than a coach and teammate relationship. They more of a brother relationship. So they don't know how to get at each other, you know what I mean, to make it better or whatever. It's more of a friendship thing. They got to get out of it. Like, I love you, Dak, but, I told you don't do this and you need to do that, or Dak tell him, well, I don't want to throw it that way because he's not going to be open. Let me do it this way. You see what I'm saying? They got to communicate better. They have to. We got to get that bully sense in these coaches. We have to, because being friends ain't going to make it.
No doubt. I appreciate you, Trey.
We're going to go 12-5 again next year.
Hey.
We're going to do it again.
Hello. Hey, and we might win one more extra playoff game, Hey, who knows? Hey, it's improvement.
That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all
I
I'm saying.
appreciate you, Trey.
We're going to hold on to what we got.
Uh-huh.
We're going to get better. It's going to get better. We're going to bring somebody in there that's going to help Kellen and Dak.
No doubt.
You mark my word.
I
They
appreciate
already
you.
scalping them out. So y'all don't worry about it. We going to be all right, baby. How about them Cowboys? Let's get
How
it.
about them? Let's get it. That's Trey. All right, so that is a valid point that I got to bring forth. Like every year, it may be that we getting better, but marginally. You know what I'm saying? Marginally, we getting better, and that's just how it is when you're dealing with levels of experiences. Right. So what would be the shortcut to it? You got 2 more years left on Dak Prescott contract, and you got an infinite amount of years left on Kellen Moore contract, because those guys don't get aged and they get tired. I think Pete Carroll still coaching at the age of, how old Pete Carroll is? He like 78, close to 80. He about as old as Jerry Jones, and he's still coaching good. So, you can coach all your life, but being a player, there's limitations to it. Y'all still ragging on Eastside. Eastside, man, I love you, man. I'm just joking with you, man. Don't take it to heart, man. I got nothing but love for you, man. Don't take it to heart, man. I'm just dishing it back out at you. You troll me, I'm gonna troll you. That's just how it goes, man. But Eastside, don't take it personal, man. Just watch that Deshaun Watson pillowcase, man. You know what I'm saying? In bed spread. Just wash it, man. Oh, my gosh, man. I got my guy, man, who always hit me up with good information. Scott, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Law? Cowboy fella, what's happening, man? There's been some good conversations going on while I sit up here and did laundry. I don't know how in the world you allow us. Well, actually, you force us. You make us, man. Every time that icon come on and say Law is live, we like turn off the Steve Harvey show, Martin and Jamie Foxx, just to be here with you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that's love, bro. Got some good stuff going on. We love you, Law, man. Appreciate all your
you,
content
man.
and everything you do.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Now let me get 2 points out there. And I'm gonna go. Well, the first thing is that's off key. But what she was talking about, it was a coach. I can't remember his name. They fired him. He had the assistant head coach position, but he never coached at all in the NFL. Don't have no experience in the area. They just fired him. I know what she was talking about.
Jeff Saturday? Was it Jeff Saturday or was it Patriots?
No, for the Cowboys.
Oh, you talking about Rob Davis, the assistant head coach?
Yeah, he was the assistant head coach. He never had that position and done anything like that in the NFL. So she was trying to figure out why give him a position that he never done before.
Yeah. Rob Davis' background was he was very essential in the Green Bay Packers way back when they won their first Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. So he was very what Mike McCarthy used him as the guy. You know when they smashing watermelons and stuff.
Yeah, and Shannon Sharp trying to make it a racial thing.
Right. Yeah. Try to make it a racial thing. So Mike McCarthy used Rob Davis as that guy that could go in, talk to the player about their issues and other things from a cultural thing. He used him as a cultural piece. Because let's be real, man. Mike was from Pennsylvania, man. He ain't used to all of these Tyrones in the locker room. He just had to utilize Rob Davis for the cultural aspect of it.
Right. All right, so let me make that a third thing I want to talk about. Being if that's the case, I'm gonna tell you like this, culture-wise. I'm gonna tell you like this. Listen, you got Byron Leftwich out there as a fired head coach that won the Super Bowl with the Tom Brady that we beat. All right, I'm just saying, culture-wise, a brother gonna check another brother. I've seen Byron Leftwich get in the face of the receivers and those and get pissed off and this, that, and other. We can definitely use that over here. You know what I'm saying? Number two, listen. Dak Prescott, I said it before a while ago, Dak Prescott is a yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. When they tell me to throw it this way or the player, I expect my receiver to be in this spot, I'm throwing it to that spot, and my receiver got to be at that spot. If they unlock his mind and say, bruh, if you don't see it, do what you feel that's in your heart to do, I believe he will do just that. I told you this before, and y'all listen to me, please, and go look at it. I was looking at it as she was talking. Go to the Philadelphia Eagles game in 2018 when Amari Cooper had 3 touchdowns and we won that game. It was 16-16. He told Dak, do not call the same play that Linehan told you to do. They're sitting on that route. Dak listened to Amari Cooper. Boom, touchdown, game over. And he stood in the end zone with his hands out like T.O. when he stood on the star. When they did that, they got pissed off. Like, listen, this is what I call a control offense. The head controls it. I get pissed off at a player for not doing what I say, even though it was the right call and we won the game. I'm pissed off because you didn't do what I say. Now you're making me look bad, so I'm putting you in the hole. Tell me how many times Cooper got the ball and they allowed Dak to throw Cooper's ball the next 3 games. And then we say Cooper's bailed out on the team. No, man. I saw it the last time, and I'm seeing it this time. That's who Dak is. Yes, sir, no, sir. My last point is, I'm telling y'all to go look at it. I just watched it.
Yeah.
My last point
look. It was 455 yards that game. Do you remember that stat? Was that the game?
Sir.
Yeah, 455. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my last thing is with Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, we love Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, he didn't have the best season, but he had a good season. Now, I was watching the other guy that you did the podcast with the other day. He said the same thing today as stuff I've been saying. Everybody want to say trade Zeke. Do we not know that Ezekiel Elliott was on pace for 1,000 yards again like last season? It was the game that he got popped in the leg. Let me be honest with y'all. Got popped in the leg, and we saw it. That was a bad hit during the Lions game. That man would have had another 1,000-yard season again, and we saw flashes of the old Zeke. The Giants game. They gave him the toss. That man was running. We saw him when Tony Pollard was out and he had to take a break. Zeke told that thing for 92 yards and 2 touchdowns that game. We said, Zeke back. When you get hit like that and you have the same tear on the same leg, y'all did not notice that he had a brace on again in the San Francisco 49ers game. When he stood up beside him, they was like doing the pregame, I saw that brace. He was still hurting the whole season. If you are injured, this is not a game of horses where you kill the horse because he's injured. These are human beings. Just like you and I don't care if they got leagues or not, just like you and I, if we get hurt, we're going to slow down just a little bit if we don't sit on the sideline and heal up. Let the man heal up, and Zeke still could get 1,200 yards this day. I guarantee you. Point blank period.
Well,
and this ain't no apologist about that bull crap.
I mean, you're a Dak Prescott apologist, man. Next time I see you, I better see them 2 nose rings in your nose, dog.
I say it like this: apologize, dude. How you like that?
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, apologize, dude.
Let me see that nose ring, though. Appreciate you, dog.
Yeah.
All right, Ro. Good call from him, man. Oh my gosh, man. All right, let's go to Queen. Queen, you're live from the 910, right? 910, you in, Queen?
Yeah. Hey, how are you?
You do all is well. Can't complain.
The conference has been locked.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I don't know how you content creators actually deal with all the people that call into your shows every day. I listen to you guys. I listen to your informational podcast and then your interactive podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, as long as I've been listening to you guys have been laying out facts after facts after facts after facts after facts. And you have the same people come around in your chat, call on your phones, and say the same idiotic things every single freaking day, as if the day or the week or the month before you guys didn't just reiterate, regurgitate the same stats, the same information, the same comparisons, giving them stone hard facts. Yet it's like they twist it all up and act like you never tell them nothing the day before. Like your son Brandon. You guys are constantly feeding the fans all the information that they need to actually bring them to a point where they should be comfortable in knowing that y'all, if they don't believe something that you say on a particular day, go online and research what you said to see if you're right. You know what I'm saying? And once they see that you are not trying to blow smoke up their asses, but you're trying to give them the information that they need so they can make sound decisions and be comfortable in the fact that you are going to keep them on point with what's actually going on. They don't do that. So I'm going to have to commend you guys. I don't know how I'm going to show my gratefulness. I'm going to figure something out. But you guys have actually grown me as a Cowboys fan, and you guys have increased me as a knowledgeable football fan. Now I'm kind of like watching film and all this other kind of stuff and getting my analytical stuff going on. But I'm ready for the next season. I'm ready for the draft.
Let's get it,
And
Queen.
how about them Cowboys?
How about them? Baby, I appreciate you, and I thank you for your words of encouragement. I thank you all the way. That's Queen, y'all. That's Queen. I'm glad to hear feedback. I'm glad to hear all of that. Spock, you're alive now from the 562.
Yo, Law, what's up, man?
Yes, indeed,
Hey.
man. Talk to me, man.
All right, so check it out. I got a couple points I want to make real quick, and just let me know if I'm wrong. Kick me out, throw me out if I'm speaking out of out of turn. So check this out. Someone in your chat earlier, he's still in the chat. His name's William Anthony. He asked the question: if Dak isn't a high volume passer, why is Kellen calling more pass plays? And we have answers to that. We have evidence, as you would say, anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
Here's what my conclusion is. There's two answers to that. Either he doesn't know his player's strengths or he don't care. And here's the reason why. Kellen Moore has been here as long as Tony Pollard, right?
Yeah.
And we saw bursts of Tony Pollard. For years we saw bursts, and he wouldn't use them. and I'm trying to make this kind of quick, he would not use Tony Pollard until he only used them this year when Zeke got hurt. Remember when he kind of busted out in that Lions and Bears game?
Right.
That's when he used them, only because Zeke was hurt. He still don't pass to him enough, but that's another thing.
Yeah.
And here's another reason I know this guy, and this isn't to exonerate Dak or anyone of any losses. This is a bigger picture type thing. Your OC does not know your player's strengths. He's just calling plays based on what he wants to call.
Yes.
Gallup.
Somebody
when Gallup came back,
yes,
he was still injured, right?
Yes.
For 3 games in a row, maybe even 4, he kept calling these weird plays where he would call a bunch formation on one side, Gallup isolated on the other side. Quick pass to Gallup, expecting Gallup to make a guy miss, and he couldn't because his knee is not good. You could see that in practice. That should have never been called. Those are wasted plays. He calls plays not based on any player strength, not even based on the O-line strength. That's the problem. Forget the skill players, the receivers, the Tony Pollards. He doesn't even know his offensive line players' strengths.
Man,
that's
you
an issue.
preaching,
That's a bigger
man.
issue. Those are
Man.
two little nuggets. So
Man.
check this out. A while back, when Amari came over here and he started balling out, he was in an interview and someone asked him, what's the difference between the Cowboys offense and the Raiders offense? And Amari said, I don't know if you can find this interview, but he said the Raiders offense is simple as hell, because you learn one position and you run that route. That's it. And that's what you guys have been talking about, boss, all you guys with all these option routes. Every single player has to learn multiple positions here and learn multiple option routes. There are up to 2 to 4 options on a route. Amari said, yeah. He was just kind of nonchalantly joking. And I'm not exonerating. My point is, you guys got to understand, I'm not exonerating Dak or anyone of this.
Right.
But if you want to win, you simplify everything. You let athletes be athletes and beat people. You don't want to make this a thing where everyone's thinking. And Amari was one of the smartest dudes that's been here.
Right.
If he says the Raiders' offense was super simple and easy and Dallas is complicated, because over there you learn one position as a receiver, and over here you learn all of them, and you learn all the option routes included in that with each route, you're making it harder. That's why.
And that explain why you got a guy that runs a 4.29. He can't even see the field. like as a guy, you know what I'm saying? There should have at least been one play every quarter. Then I'm gonna let my guy who runs a 4.29 on the field, even if he just for a decoy. You know, I would literally have him on the field where I have to have the defense make the defense play honest. I appreciate
That's
you.
why
man.
I was wondering a lot. I was trying to call in weeks ago. I was wondering about Simi. Because I was thinking, okay, I know Simi, from what you told that you saw him in the off-field stuff earlier in the season. Just get him down the field, right? Just get him running because he's fast and he's big.
And he's a 4.3 guy. Yeah, Simi. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that was my thought process.
Yeah.
Why isn't he just running down the field?
Just run straight.
Line? I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
It's because in this offense, they want you to be able to do everything. So he's not getting the opportunity. We're this offense, and to all the people that say, oh, Dak needs this, Dak needs that, and you got to understand, this offense is based on a little bit of athleticism with smartness, as opposed to a whole lot of athleticism versus a little bit of smartness.
Yeah, no
We're
doubt,
not
man.
letting guys just be dudes and beat dudes one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's not what this offense, and that's what Bosch tried to tell you guys last night. He broke it down. He broke that down for 2 hours last night.
Man, I'm gonna check Spock. I'm gonna take a look at that, man. I appreciate you for calling in.
Oh, yeah,
Brilliant points, bro. Oh my goodness,
It pisses
brilliant.
me off, dude. It pisses me off because people hear this stuff for hours a day. I see these people in chat, in your chat, in Boss's chat, in Sky's chat, and they don't get it, dude.
They don't get it, man.
They don't get it, brother. I'm sorry, man.
Some people don't understand quadratic equations, man. That's just what it is. Oh man, Spock. You know, and I seen someone. Is it I'm awake? Are you? Shout out to you, my dog. I would say this, and this is no knock at one of y'all greatest wide receivers for the Eagles. I can literally tell you that Deshaun Jackson, and I'm not saying Kevontae Turpin is Deshaun Jackson, but Deshaun Jackson had 2 routes that he ran. 2. Can y'all put it? I'm going to give y'all one of them. The 9 is one of them. 9 route. And that's the only route he ran. 9. And you can probably throw in a 7. Those are his 2 routes that he ran. Let me know if I'm wrong. They'll hit him occasionally. He's not known for a nuanced route runner guy. He's not that. But that dude can kill you on a 9. And that's his claim to fame. A 9, maybe throw in a flag here and there, a flag route. You make it hit him on a quick tunnel screen. But that was his he give you 3 routes possible. But that strong route that he ran was a 9. And that dude killed it with that 9. But when I held that 9, all I could see was my mama's eyes. You know what I'm saying? They hit that brother on the seam. Or they hit him in the flat tunnel. And I'm not saying Kevontae Turpin ain't that dude, but he runs a 4.29. I would have figured out a way. Ain't this right, Blue Chew, man? You live, dog.
Hey, what's going on, Law?
Nothing to it, man.
Hey, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you, Balls, man. All y'all content creators, man. Y'all doing an awesome job, man. And just trying to keep y'all cool through all this chaos and everybody, that, get rid of that, get rid of that. I mean, you got to have a solution. Like I said, you got to have a solution. I mean, we can do all that, but what's the solution? You got to have a solution to the problem before you get to just acting on your feelings. Because with your feelings, at the end of your feelings, there's absolutely nothing. But I was reading this article, I think Brian Broadus, he was talking about Stephon Diggs. What would you think about giving up by first round 26 pick for Stephon Diggs? Would that be sensible to do, or would that cost us too much?
If you talking about give up for Stephon, Stephon Diggs over here, give up our 26th pick. I mean,
yeah,
shoot, pay up that pick, man. You do. Hey,
right.
The Cowboys have made a trade. It's gonna sound just like this, dog. This is how it will sound over here. The Cowboys have made a breaking news. The Cowboys have given up their 26th round draft pick, 26th overall pick for Stephon Diggs. Hell yeah! You gonna get me cussing over here? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, it was saying Buffalo kind of, with the salary cap, Buffalo kind of strapped with the salary cap, so that could be an option, So that definitely would be an option. And one more thing, I'm trying to figure out why didn't we run the same game plan or the same type of scheme that we ran against the Bucs? Like we just threw all that out the window as far as Dak running the ball and doing all that. I mean, I guess I ain't gonna say nothing. Dak was at fault throwing some of them interceptions.
Yeah,
but we got to spread that. We got to spread that blame around. We got to spread that blame around.
Well, let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this though, David. Blue Chew, come on, Blue Chew. Y'all hook a brother up over here. We represent y'all Blue Chews out there.
keep it strong and hard.
Keep it strong. But hey, here's my truth right here. Name me a game this year. Even though we won, we had back-to-back same exact philosophy.
Flip-flopping all the time.
Even when we were winning. Like, name me that game. Can you name me that game?
Just be throwing plays. He just want to run plays. He just like to run plays. He think he's on PlayStation. I'm gonna run this play. I like this play. He don't think about none of his players like the caller before. He said, you got to run to your strength. You got to know your players. You got to know your team. he don't care. It's just like he don't care though. Or I sent you something from when he was doing the quarterback thing with John Gruden, and he said the same thing about running plays. We're gonna throw the ball to the guys who are open, or we're gonna run option routes. If you go back and look at when he was what was that thing that John Gruden used to do with the quarterback when they would come out of
I know
college?
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. But he was saying the same stuff.
I remember that
do
when you
right
said
now.
that to me. Yeah, it's
the same stuff, man.
And here's the thing, though. Like, what do you do for a living?
I drive a truck for the post office.
You drive a truck for the post office. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I told you to start flying planes for the post office, that ain't gonna be you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, nah, I drive trucks. So you're gonna do what's comfortable for you. But we gonna pay you more. You're gonna have to learn how to fly the plane. But there's gonna be some growing pains. How you drive trucks for the post office right now is easy. But learning how to fly the plane for the post office is a whole lot different and takes some more time. So when Kellen Moore, I think that he's brilliant. I think that he is. I think that he is absolutely marvelous at his task. But there along the way, he's learning, and just like what Brandon said, he's learning to fill in the gaps, Brandon. Yeah. So if you admitted that he's learning, then what the hell he's doing for Dak Prescott then? You know, so that explains the inconsistency. Dak gonna have to let them hang, but that's not even in his DNA.
In his DNA, right. But don't put me out here and make me look bad, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't make me look bad. Yeah. What the heck are we running, Kelly? Somebody got to get in somebody's face.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, it's 2nd and 2, man. I got a guy that's running 4.29. How about I just toss it to him? You know, put him in the back, put an orbital motion with him.
What would Ben Roethlisberger do? What would Ben Roethlisberger do? What would Tom Brady do? They gonna call it if they see something. They say, "Nah, we ain't running that."
We ain't running that. But here's my thoughts before I let you roll. Big Ben, when he won his first 2 Super Bowls, he was the guy was just only delivering mail. You know what I'm saying? They didn't ask him to fly the plane. No, they just said, you know what? You got a good running back. You got sound defense. All we need for you to do is throw occasionally, but primarily put the ball in the belly of the running back. Now, when they got rid of everything, they paid Big Ben and everything, and they had to let Big Ben throw the ball. He never won the Super Bowl at that time or multiple playoffs at that time because he was doing too much. Right. But I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in.
I appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. That's a good call from my guy, David, the Blue Chew. Ron B, you live.
Hey, Law, how you doing, man?
All is well, man. I can't complain, man.
All right, 3 areas real quick. You know, I was thinking back to when Bill Parcells was the head coach. Remember he had Sean Payton, Maurice Carthon on his coaching staff. You know, since the time he left, Jason Garrett became the offensive coordinator, and you probably remember Bill Callahan of the Raiders.
Yeah.
He was calling plays. Then Scott Linehan, and then Kellen Moore, which is where we are now. You know who hired all these guys? Jerry Jones, which is interesting. It wasn't the head coaches themselves that brought these guys in on their staff. The Joneses hired these guys. To me, it really crystallized after this last playoff game. The Joneses are the problem because of that kind of meddling, right? So where we are now with
hold on before you go into that. I think that, oh my goodness, man, I think that Boss Cowboy Sports coined his phrase, arranged marriages. In every single situation, there was an arranged marriage, meaning that you may not like the way this person looked, but the Jones family put it together, make it work. Now, to a degree, it's his team.
Yeah,
it's his team. Absolutely. He'll do whatever he wants, you know. Because if I own the team, if I want all my players to wear saffron, you know what I'm saying, or fuchsia, I can do that. I'm the owner. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might not like it, but I'm the owner. You know. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. They hired Jason Garrett before they hired Wade Phillips. But that's their prerogative, like you said. But that's part of the problem, right?
let's talk about the philosophy that's been a topic here. So that game against the 49ers, that I don't know what Michael Gallup was running.
You must be in a tunnel somewhere, Ron, where you at now, Ron? Where you at?
It might be the air I'm in. It's a bad reception.
Okay, you're getting bad. Yeah.
Okay. How's it sound now?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, better now. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what route that Michael Gallup was running on that first interception. I don't know if it was a comeback or a curl, but as a couple of callers have alluded to, he's not 100% to be driving upfield and then pushing off and running that kind of route. And there have been an interception or two on that same route in games that ended the regular season. So I don't understand the thinking behind calling a play designated for him to do that if you know there's a possibility that defensive back is going to run the route for him and win the route. Secondly, that second interception, and again, Dak is accountable because he threw the passes, but that second interception on that 2nd and 2 right before the half, that's unforgivable to call. Not only are they going to call a pass play, but to go shotgun, empty backfield, we're going to go 5 wide, that was unforgivable on the coaching staff. And for me, that lands on Mike McCarthy, who should have stepped in and made that adjustment to run the doggone ball. I don't know what the Cowboys' philosophy is as far as their staple goes. Is it curl routes? Is it shotgun, empty backfield?
But you know what I'll live with? You know what I live with? Because this week I want the Niners to pay attention on that same exact play. They were not going to run that route. They would not run that route for AJ. You know, it's going to be a slant.
Right.
It's going to be a slant, especially on that type of coverage. Off man, I want to get my guy in motion with the ball, and if you hit him, you're going to have to bring the force. And looking at leverage, looking at how they were playing that particular defense off man zone, I'm running a slant, and he's going to pick up. At worst, it's going to be 4th and inches. Or 4th and 1. Yeah. I'm running my guy slant. And if you look back at the successful game that we did against Buccaneers, they were slanting that thing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So the Cowboys decided to run that hitch or a comeback route, whereas that was going to be a route only for placing, whereas it's not going to be a route for yards after catch. The thing that we marveled Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb is yards after catch. I want to be able to give look, this is about what my guy just said earlier. Trusting your wide receivers' skill set and understanding what they do best. Yards after catch, that's CeeDee Lamb's bag. Yards after catch, that used to be Michael Gallup's bag. So why would you throw it in a route whereas you get the first down and you expecting only the 9 or 10 yards? That's just crazy to me. Well, go ahead.
Exactly right. Nailed it. Last point, number 3, I'm looking ahead to the draft, and we talked about Kevontae Turpin. There's a receiver from Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt. Looks like a deep threat deluxe, and I think the Cowboys would be best served to get someone opposite CeeDee Lamb to complement him that can scare a defense, that can scare a secondary and get deep behind the safety. But that's all I got for now.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you. Right. Thank you, Ron. All right, so deep threat to help the offense out. I'm with the belief you can probably look at it if the Cowboys going to stay suit with the 26th pick. If we keep Kellen Moore, I don't want us to draft a wide receiver. I want us to go out there and grab a veteran wide receiver to help out with this offense due to the complications. And I would prefer with the 26th pick go get what's that? The Georgia kid, maybe a DB like that, you know, or Quentin Johnson. I want us to do that on the defensive side. Let's continue to build the defensive side up and build around Parsons and things like that with that 26th pick versus going to get an offensive player if it's not an offensive lineman with the 26th pick. All right, we got some more people just here waiting from the 4-3-2. You're live.
How you doing, Law?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man.
One thing that I've been thinking about, like I've been saying, Kellen Moore is a big problem, and I think there's one thing that it's really to a disadvantage when it comes to trying to get rid of Kellen Moore is the division that we play in. A big reason why his numbers are so gaudy on offense and having the top 3 offense in the last several of years is because you played 6 games against your own division, which up until this year has been considered one of the worst divisions in all of football, right?
Right.
Am I correct?
Or say that again. You're breaking it. Go ahead.
So we play in one of the most weakest divisions in all of football up until this year. Because we had 3 teams in the playoffs this year, so this is probably the best year that we've had in quite some time. And then throughout the season, you can go through any other team's schedule. You will hardly find that certain teams play top caliber teams week after week. I mean, you can go through the Chiefs schedule, you can go through the Bengals schedule, you can go through the Eagles schedule, and you cannot find 4 or 5 top caliber teams that they play year in and year out. So you're going to play a lot of bad teams throughout the whole year, regardless. Because there's only like 4 or 5 top caliber teams in the league, and you obviously don't play them every single year. So, and the way I see it is, and I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Carolina just signed Frank Reich, so Kellen Moore going to Carolina is already off the table.
So what's next? You got Denver, you got maybe Arizona that's out there, the Texans, those 3 teams. Have they signed someone?
I think Arizona is going to try to go defensive-minded coach, which Kellen Moore, I think, or not Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, I think he was later to have a second interview with him. So I think Arizona is going to go defensive-minded, and Denver's probably going to try to put all their chips in to go after Sean Payton. So
Right.
As much as I hate to say it, we're going to have another year of Kellen Moore.
Who gonna get the coach job? The Colts.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. You still got some options out there.
I have not seen any talks about Kellen Moore going to the Colts. The biggest one that was out there was him going to Carolina.
Carolina, yeah.
And to think about this, if Kellen Moore was such a genius, why is there not being such a big push for other teams to actually sign him, even after he's had back-to-back top 3 offenses?
Man, that is a brilliant point, man. I'm gonna have to give you that answer off of the phone. But I appreciate you, man, for the 432. Good call from him. That's a good point. Not everybody's lying, right? On the open market, how many days will Dak Prescott be available for, right? If, like, let's say if he's a free agent today, how many teams will scoop him up versus if Kellen Moore is on an open market, which he is right now? That will answer your question. Yeah, Frank Wright got the job. Yeah, appreciate you, Davis. So Frank Wright got that job from Carolina. So who's going to be the coach for the Colts, the Texans, Denver, and who else got an open spot? Yeah. Oh, he's staying. Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I don't trust y'all no more. Let's see. Frank Wright needs Kellen ASAP. But if I'm an offensive coordinator, I wouldn't leave my job to be an offensive coordinator elsewhere. I will always try to advance myself, not parallel myself, you know. But from the 347, you're live.
Hey, Lois. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
This is Soul Goddess from the chat. Hi, everybody in the chat. What's going on?
Absolutely.
Just got some quick points. I mean, it's been made, but first of all, Dak is not going anywhere. People saying get rid of Dak. We have a no trade clause,
right.
So that's a wrap. We should just stop that smoke. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
Number 2, I've been saying get rid of Kellen Moore. I said that 3 years ago. I said when we got rid of Garrett, we should have got rid of Kellen Moore, because if anyone noticed, Kellen Moore was Dak backup. How you going to have the backup coach you and tell you how to do your job if he already took his job from him? Make no sense to me. Should have never been an offensive coach. He should have been like somewhere else, learning the game from the ground up, and then he could have came back with some experience. He knew nothing, and then we just threw him in. That's like when they put Jeff Savage or whatever that got Savage for the head coach of the Colts, and then everybody gonna be like, oh, how he gonna be like the head coach? He don't know nothing. Kellen Moore don't know nothing either. Let him go get some experience and come back. There's a reason most head coaches got at least 10, 12 years experience before, or offensive line coaches got at least 10, 12 years experience before they come back. So they need to stop that. Number two, I've been said, Kellen Moore does not have new plays. If you look at all our games since he's been in there, you can call the plays when they line up. You know exactly what routes they're going to run. People need to stop that, learn something new, design a freaking offensive line scheme. 3, he don't know how to utilize his players. You know why Amari Cooper didn't look good the last year we had him, when he looked explosive when we first had him? Because he wasn't utilized correctly. He was just a decoy most of the time we had him. When he always had separation, but we never threw to him because we never drafted him. Jerry wants to feature the people that he drafted. You pay a lot of money to Zeke, he's going to feature Zeke. You pay a lot of hype to CD, you're going to feature CD. That's just how it goes. We've been a fan long enough to know how this team is built and how it works. You see the other teams, 49ers and the Eagles, they got deficits. They go and trade for it. They do what they need to do. They get it done. We need to find people that know how to work with the talent we have. We never utilize our talent correctly. You know why Dak, I had a problem with Dak all year? He don't trust his offensive line. If you ever notice, he's doing his check down so fast that by the time he needs to look, there's no way for him to, he's throwing because he's not taking the time to see that his people are open. He did it perfectly in the Tampa Bay game because he trusted his offensive line to hold for him and give him time to do his check downs. He's rushing through his check downs, and that is why he's getting a lot of interceptions this year. Yeah, he's throwing a lot, but if we're not getting any separation and everybody knows we're going to throw the CD, throw the CD, throw the CD, what do y'all expect him to do? He's going to force the play. He's not going to throw it away because we used to get on him about holding the ball or throwing it out of bounds. We're going to say, scramble, scramble. They need to tell him, hey, if they give you 5-6 yards down the field and it's open, run and slide, my bro. Run and slide. Yeah, you got a little bad hit, but that's when you was going forward. Just run and slide. Do the Tom Brady. People are saying, oh, we had 7 years body of work. No, we didn't. We had literally 5.5. He's been injured almost a whole year. Prior to that, he was injured 5 this and a couple years before that, he played hurt. So, no, we had a certain amount of body of work where he was healthy. He had good production, but he didn't have either good defense or good offense. Last year, we fixed the defense, but we did not fix the offense when we had time. And that's what we need to do because we gave away all our talent. And then we want to bring in people that's, yeah, they're veterans, but they're veterans that should be retiring. Or we're bringing them out of retirement to do their jobs. Y'all can't expect us to go anywhere if this is how we're going to play. Either we're going to go all in and fix our line the way we're supposed to, or we're just going to keep having these inconsistent seasons. Either we're good on the offense or we're good on the defense. We just need to be complimentary when we're doing our talent, and we should be good to go. It's little things to fix, but it starts from the staff, the coaching down, and that's my point.
No doubt. It's a great point. What's your name again? Soul
Goddess.
Soul Goddess. Let me put this in here. You killed this one. I appreciate you, Soul Goddess. Thank you for calling in. Yes, indeed. That call right there was good, man. And Soul Goddess just commented in the chat so people can follow your information and hit you up because you had some good points there. And man, I got my guy Darius DMV. Then we got the 805. So Darius, you're live, man, for the 214.
Finally, Law.
I know you've been holding on, man.
Look, so now I've been trying to get at Mike McCarthy's ass for 4 weeks straight.
Right.
and I ain't been to I haven't been able to get at him because I ain't been able to call in. So he about to get all this heat. So now
you couldn't get to the cheeks, man. Go ahead, get in his ass. Pause. You forgot to say pause, bro.
man, I'm a straight as arrow, man. I say what I want to say, man. So
you said you've been trying to get in for weeks, man. Oh my gosh, man! Well, I'm glad you finna get into it now, man. Go ahead, have at it. All right, man. Pause. Go ahead, get into it, man. Pay them down.
Before I get at them, I always want you to know, Law, that I defer to you. You know what I'm saying? You're like the analytical guy. You gonna go down. You gonna break down the all 22. Now, you know, as men, we all have visions, dreams, goals, and purpose. That's not my thing, so I'm not finna do it. But I've played football since I was 6 years old. I played football all the way up to high school, so it's intrinsic values that I know about the game. That is just like from me watching it, I can tell what's going on. That, like all 22, I leave that to you. I leave that to you, boss. West Coast, all y'all. I'm not finna do it. Y'all got time for it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get that out the way. Now, if you go back to a video that I called in, I just want to let you know that when I be talking, it's not just an opinion. I'm saying it's a very educated opinion of like that I know what I'm talking about. So if you go back to a video that I called in, it was after you was off of that Hennessy Black. It was right after that call between you and your brother, and you was drinking, and he had you off of that Hennessy Black. That show right after that, where you like the show that you're kind of doing right now. I think it was called. We was playing against the Eagles, and the show was called Cowboys Eagles Injury Concern. Right. And like you fast forward to like 203, I called in and I said, listen, I'm not going to judge Dak because I said this before anybody said it. I'm not going to judge Dak and be harsh on Dak because he doesn't have the right offensive coordinator. I already said that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't, the offensive coordinator and his head coach, because they're both trash. Don't let Mike McCarthy off the hook. And I've always said this. I said, Law, how many playoff games do I need out of Mike McCarthy? I always said I need 2. Do not crown Mike McCarthy until he gets us 2 playoff games. I've said that. He didn't do it. It do not take long to see if you have a good head coach. It don't take long. Brian Daboll went to the Giants in 1 year. 1 year, fam. Where are their playmakers? They have no playmakers. Virtually no playmakers outside of
Saquon Barkley, you know. And the defense was stout this year, man. Shout out to that defense, man.
Him and Wink Martindale.
Wink Martindale was good.
Phenomenal. It do not take long to assess if you have a good head coach or a trash head coach. He's been here for 3 years. Law, he's trash. He has to go. And if he don't, then we're going to be here in the same position next year. And Big Game James said my whole point. We are on a hamster wheel. We just spinning. Like, I can't sip Kool-Aid when we doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So basically, and then like one of your points is that Jerry don't let the head coaches coach. So it's just like we going through the same cycle every year. So it's like, how am I supposed to sip Kool-Aid when we going through the same thing every year? I can't do it. It's hard for me to do it. You got to show me. I need certain things.
Well, this been happening since 1994. You know, the coaching staff been yes man since 1994, and then we had a smaller spell of Parcells. So Parcells was like, man, come on, man. If you want me to cook the food, can I at least pick out the groceries? And even he was forced with an arranged marriage with Coach Zim. You know, Coach Zim had to come over, and they had 2 different formulations of defensive minds over there. But to make a long story short, if you judging this team, yeah, you got to judge this team by what they do in the playoffs, because 12-5 and 12-5 is not good enough. I feel what you're saying though, Darius.
And that was my first point. That's all I'm saying. We brought him in because he won a Super Bowl. We ain't even got 2 playoff games. Do not crown Mike McCarthy until he wins us playoff games. Please, people, do not crown Mike McCarthy until he wins us playoff games. So if we doing good in the regular season next year, do not crown him. Don't crown him because he hasn't won us playoff games. That's my point on that. I'll put a button on that. A lot of y'all people, y'all owe Brandon an apology.
From
Keep
what?
it real now.
From what? Because you said we were going to be one and done, and that didn't happen.
Okay. No. Brandon was basically saying he had harsh criticism on Dak Prescott. And I'm just saying, like, a lot of people gave Brandon, like, a lot of heat. You know what I'm saying? It was very disrespectful to Brandon when he was just giving a criticism on Brandon, on Dak. But, like, a lot of people owe Brandon an apology, like, for real. Like, y'all was doing a little too much with Brandon. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. Y'all, the only thing he had was a harsh criticism on Dak, and he just wanted more from Dak, and there's nothing wrong with that. Big Game James had the same points that Brandon had now. Yeah,
but Big Game James, he was the one that said he wanted the hardest way, right? And when we got the hardest way, he didn't like the results. Is that correct? We lost to the 49ers. And at the same thing, he was saying that, hey, I'm gonna drink the biggest gallon of Kool-Aid if we were to win. Right, that was his words. But I get all of that. My thing is, yes, Dak Prescott deserved the blame for this past game. But I'm trying to get this answer out of you and everyone else. Is it primarily only Dak Prescott, or is it Kellen Moore? Who is it?
I always say Kellen Moore. Like this is what I say. You have to build a scheme around Dak Prescott. You can't just have your own little set of plays and then just say, Dak, go do it. You have to build Dak is a system quarterback, just like Jalen Hurts, just like a lot of these quarterbacks. Like if your name ain't Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen to a degree, then you're a system quarterback. You need a system tailored around your skill set. That's what Dak needs. You can't properly judge Dak until you put a system around a proper system that fits him. Basically.
No doubt.
That's my whole thing with him. So that's what I say.
If that's the case, then we don't know who he is. You'll never know who he is because there's been no system for the last 4 years. And then in 2018, the year that we did win a playoff game, right? We got rid of the guy that allegedly helped him, John Kitna, who helped him get over the hump. So it's a lot of gray areas within the confines of this conversation, though. I appreciate you, Darius. I thank you for your support and all what you bring. Huh?
Clark Phillips III for my draft pick. Clark Phillips III, he's a cornerback. Check him out.
Will do, man. Appreciate you, Darius. Darius is a Brandon apologist. I just playing with you, Darius. Yes, indeed, man. We got DMV George. We got the 805, and then we can move from there. DMV, you live.
Yo, what's going on, Lon?
Not
I don't
much,
know how
man.
you do it. Just like the woman said earlier, like just listen and the people say the exact same thing, and then a lot of times you guys are wrong. Because a lot of you guys don't know ball, like a lot of you guys. But I'm just saying, like, simply put, Kellen Moore would not have like a job or any interviews without Dak Prescott. You see his offense in 2020, his offense this year could barely get over 25 points without Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is like extremely talented, and at every level, like when he leaves that offense, in college when he left his offense, in the NFL when he leaves his offense, the offense just doesn't perform when he's there as like they do when he's there, and it's like you could say he misses throws here. Every quarterback does. No matter how elite you are, you're going to miss throws. You could say his anticipation isn't there. His footwork is antsy. And I'm just saying, like, if you give him, there's a lot of coordinators that could coach all these problems out of him. And we always say, like, if you put him on the other side of the sideline next year on the 49ers, they'll probably blow us. They'll probably blow the Cowboys out if Dak Prescott played for the 49ers. Or that just goes for a lot of coaches in the league. But simply put, like, a lot of people were talking about, the CeeDee Lamb play and 5 wide, going 5 wide there. I've seen no problem with going 5 wide, 2nd and 9, but 2nd and 6, but I just don't see, like, the concept of the play. You have cover 2 and you're running slants and wheels and into cover 2, and if you just, like, think about how that works, it just doesn't make sense. And it's just, like, the small details of Kellen Moore, like, the details of his offense just does not make a lot of sense. And, he's not going to get a coaching job, but I think Jerry Jones is going to fire this man these coming weeks. And I just want to, I'm excited, like, to see, like, the candidates that could possibly teach these disciplines in Dak Prescott's game to really put him to that next level, because Dak Prescott is a talented quarterback. Whether you like it or not, he led the top scoring offense with no weapons except CeeDee Lamb. So that's all I got to say.
No doubt, man. Good call from you, DMV, man. Good stuff, man. Yesterday, we had this conversation about this and that versus this guy versus that guy. And let me see if I can pull this clip up right quick. Y'all bear with me, man. Just bear with me. I'm going to pull this screenshot up right here. And I'm going to get this one going. Hold on. Because a lot of people refuses to understand that, right? And comparisons is the robber of all joy. And we get all of that, right? We get all of that. But unfortunately, when we go by line, then a lot of people will refuse to understand these little small things that we bring about. And we go right here. They say, well, this such guy is better, this such guy is this and that. But they looking at it only from an obscured view. And which of these stats, since people want to do stats, completion percentage 62.5, which one of those stats is Dak? There's an elite quarterback right now. There's an elite quarterback that everybody, mama, uncle, cousin says is elite. Is throwing at 62.5, right? Or is it the 66.6? Which one of these stat lines is Dak? The top one or the bottom one? Can y'all put that in the chat? I'm glad you said that. Let me pull up the playoffs. Let me pull up the playoff stat. The top one is Dak. I'm glad you said that. Let me see if I can go give the playoff stat line. Playoffs. I'm glad you mentioned that. Just give me 1 second, baby. Because which one is Dak? Let me go right here. We're going to go boom, 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 boom. It's just harder to do it when I'm disclosing everything. Because a lot of people, well, no. And I'm looking at 97.8 passer rating. Is a whole lot more than 92. I'm looking at also the completion percentage is a whole lot higher. I'm looking at all of that. The touchdowns is more. And yet one is considered elite. The other one is not. The other one is not. Give me 1 second here. Boom. Boom. I got to do it right here. Completion, point per game, ratio. Boom. This is in the playoff, by the way. 666 is bad. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, no, don't stop me now. Don't stop me. Now, get off of me. Get off of me. Hold on. Y'all bear with me. Building the plane while it's in the air. I think this one is it. Which stat belongs to Dak? Which stat? The top one or the bottom one? Both of them are the bottom ones. The top ones is Josh Allen. Top one is Josh Allen. The bottom one is Dakota Prescott. All right? So one is considered elite. One is not. That goes to show you that, you can create stats to make you look good in any shape, form, and fashion, right? And I know how y'all think. Hey, man, shoot. Give me Josh Allen. Well, give me Brian Daboll. You know what I mean? Who you rather have, Brian Daboll or Kellen Moore? And all I know is Brian Daboll went over there to the Giants and made Danny Jones finna get made some money, baby. Shoot. He finna get that boy some money, man. Y'all, he finna get a whole heap of money. I got the 805. You live, baby.
Damn, it took forever to get in, Lord.
Man, you in here, man. You in here, baby. Talk to me, man.
All right. So I'm gonna answer your question real quick, that you put up. Which quarterback better? Stats would make it seem like Dak better, right? But it's
now how big is that butt, man? How big is it? Go ahead, Lizzo butt. Go ahead.
The thing is, Josh Allen does two things that it just pisses me off that Dak don't do.
Run.
Josh will pick up a first down.
Yeah.
He will get those extra yards. You know what I mean? Every time I was watching, this season, I felt like if it was 3rd and 5, I'm like, shit, we might as well just punt the ball right now. Dak ain't picking up that 5 yards no matter what, no how. You know what I mean? So Josh Allen will run and get those yards. And as a defensive player, we appreciate that. You're giving us more time to rest, getting that extra yard. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing that Josh does is he throws the ball downfield. He scares the defense. So he's scaring them over the top, and he's scaring them for that first down. Dak don't do none of those things. That's the answer to the question. Hopefully that gives you something right there.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Do button hooks allow you to throw? I'm playing with you.
All right, so that was that.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting forever. Long
Go
to
ahead,
get here
man.
to answer your primary question. So
go ahead.
So
Man.
is Kellen Moore good?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He gives defenses too much credit. That's why it's the flip-flop from game to game. Game plan switches. He's like, they going to take away this, so I probably shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But any old-school coordinator would be like, if I'm good at something, you better damn well stop me, and when you stop me, I'll change. If I can run the ball, I'm going to keep running the ball until you stop me. So the fact that
Well, do this for me, though. Do this for me. How far is Dak from Josh Allen, then? How far are they far apart?
I don't crown him the king that was promised like the NFL narrative wants you to. Josh Allen, he's good, he's decent, he can sling it, he'll run. But sometimes that's enough.
It's enough. So they're not in the same room, of course, as far as arm talent, as far as strength. I think that I seen Josh Allen do like this, and the ball flipped out of his hand, right? So I'm only using this as a Q&A session for right now. He's not in the same room, or is he like in the same house, or where are they? On the same street?
they one live in an apartment, one live in a suburb across the street from each other. You know what I mean?
That's how far apart they are from each other. All right, so I want to ask you this for context. So how far apart is Kellen Moore to Brian Daboll? Are they in the same room, same street, two different states?
I mean, I'm a defensive guy. I don't want to act like I know everything, and people want to pick apart what they're doing. I'm just looking at what I see there, and this is my biggest problem with that 49ers game.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I saw they started the game with Zeke in the backfield,
right.
I knew it was over. What kind of power does this man Kellen Moore have? Can he go in and say, this is the game plan, these are the people I'm starting?
Right.
Apparently not, because to anybody who watches football, they would be like, why the hell are you not starting and going with that guy? Like, I don't even think Pollard should have been hurt, because if he would have started the game and he would have been the one running the ball and doing when Zeke came in and did the backup role, Zeke might not have gotten hurt like that. He might have hit somebody, but that to me is on Kellen Moore, But everything. And I want to be quick because I know I got to get back to work here. I'm supposed to be working right now. Don't tell nobody. I got a question for you, and for maybe you can post this or talk about it in the next coming days or whatnot. But what makes a good GM? What makes a good GM? And I've been thinking about that because everybody thinks, Jerry Jones he's good because he drafts well. But I'm sitting there trying to break it down in my mind. I'm like, okay, so what? Player acquisition or drafting should be one thing. Making trades should be another thing. Re-signing current players should be another thing. Picking coaches and whatnot.
Ooh.
Of those things I listed, what is Jerry Jones really good at? If I was going to evaluate a GM, it would be on all things. And I think of drafting, and I think Will McCray is doing all that. That's all, Will McCray goes, here's three guys right here. Pick which one you like, Jerry. You know what I mean? And Jerry goes, I picked that guy that he gets the credit for. I don't know. Maybe that is. But I feel like we're all about the draft picks. We want to save these draft picks. But at the end of the day, we also won't play young players until they're damn near about to be out of their rookie contract. So we're a farm system for the rest of the NFL. I'm still mad. I'm still mad that we let Cedric Wilson go.
Yeah.
There was no reason. And a player, and somebody had said it earlier in the call, they had mentioned there was no reason to sign Gallup. There was no reason to sign Gallup. When you've got power, damn
Brandon,
well use it.
Yeah, Brandon Ross said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There was no reason to sign Gallup. The fact that they let Cedric Wilson walk. Now, again, I'm watching film. I'm watching tape. When Cedric was in there, when Gallup and other people were hurt, man, he was balling. How many times was Dak throwing it to him on fourth down or something like that, and Cedric was doing it, right? Cedric was doing it, throwing. He was running back. He was quarterbacking. You could see there was a spark when Cedric was in there, and the fact that they didn't give this man a contract or try to re-sign him, just let me know. I'm like, what the hell is our GM doing? What is he good for? And that's why we are who we are. I have never said this. I'm almost on the fence of leaving Cowboy Nation and leaving the Cowboys because I've been a fan all my whole life, man. I live here in Oxnard. I go to the training camps every time the Cowboys here. But everything I've seen just lets me feel like, damn, am I a Raiders fan? Like, is it the Davis family over here? Like, everybody talks crap, but nobody wants to nobody holds us accountable. Nobody holds Jerry Jones accountable for being a GM and going over those 4 or 5 things that makes a good GM. And my last point, don't ever you don't never want to trade picks away because we need offensive line help. Keep drafting offensive linemen with those first picks. I think that's smart because it don't matter what you do. Dak can't throw the ball to anybody. He's not accurate. That's why him and Kellen Moore, they're not good for each other. Dak has got no accuracy with his throws. That's why everything is a timing throw. If he could actually throw a player open, you could go get speedy guys or Deshaun Jackson or this and that. It don't matter who you get. You might as well go get a whole bunch of LeBron James guys with long arms because Dak going to throw it all over the place, and you better hope these long arm guys can get it, because that's the problem. Dak and
what's your name, fam, from the 805?
I'm Christopher Williams.
Hold on. Christopher Williams, man. Let me set it in there.
Yes, sir.
It got your whole government name up there, but let me reset it though. Yeah.
And last but not least, there's one more thing, real quick, and that was somebody in the earlier call had talked about like how the coaches, Jerry Jones is picking the coaches and this and that, and like I'm sitting there listening, I'm like, damn, it make me feel the way Homeboy was saying it. I just started thinking about it, and I go, man, it feels to me like you know how your girlfriend want to bring you over to her girlfriend's house and then be like, oh, this is so and so's boyfriend. He like football. Y'all get to know each other. Y'all hang out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And everybody and us guys, we can get together even if we don't know each other and find common ground and whatnot. But it ain't the same for if me as a man, I'm gonna go out there and find my friends. I'm gonna find the like-minded people who can carry on my philosophy, who I know I can trust to do their job and whatnot. There's no trust. It's just a whole bunch of guys who have a common interest in football, pieced together by Jerry Jones, like women bringing their boyfriends together at a party or something like that. Yeah. And I'm gonna leave you with that one. That was it.
That's a good analogy, man. Appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate you.
All right, Law. Have fun with that.
No doubt, man. First of all, he shouldn't jump ship though. But if he already thought about it, he did it. But I look at it like this: we do have our warts with the general manager. In management, the number one goal is getting work done through others, right? Getting work done through others. That's management. So as Jerry Jones, the general manager, there are things that you do good at, and there are things that you do horrible at. And I think willing and dealing of our players is where the Cowboys ultimately do wrong at. We hold on to players too long and so long that they allow these contracts to expire before we can get anything out of it. And a good GM or a great GM sees down the line, and he knows that, hey, Tony Pollard, you should have paid him last year after he came back from when he was doing his thing. You could have signed him up and said, holler at me, man, sign him up for a 2 or 3 year deal before he goes and play into his final contract. And now he runs 1,000 yards. He get hurt at the end. It's crazy. God, dog it, man. It just hit me. It's crazy, y'all. Oh, my God, it's crazy. It's crazy how this works. It's crazy how it happened 3 times in a row. We refused to pay a guy. Oh, it just hit me, man. A guy, like we fought Dak Prescott left and right. Hey, he not worthy of this contract. We need to see more out of him, right? We need to see a little bit more out of him. In 2019, he won his first 4 games. Hey, the price of the bag went up. Jerry got mad and angry at him at that, right? He played on the franchise tag on a prove-it deal. When you in, right, in 2019, all you had to do was beat the Eagles. Y'all remember that? We in the playoffs, right? We in the playoffs. But somehow he hurt his shoulder, didn't practice all that week. Went in that game against Carson Wentz and the Walmart All-Stars. Y'all remember that? Some guy by the name of Ward. Y'all remember that? Ward. Some guy by the name of Ward toasted us, and the Eagles won that game. All offseason, people were talking about Dak Prescott ain't that dude. He is not that guy. And the Colts was saying, hey, we'll give him $35 million. If you don't like him, we'll give him $35 million. And the Cowboys were like in the fringe with that. And they were like, no. And the Colts was like literally saying that they would give him $38 million, right? And the Cowboys like, nah. And then the year happened, 2020. They fired Jason Garrett right in 19. They did some changes on the offense. They fired everyone on the offensive side of the coin and kept one person, Kellen Moore. And they franchise tag Rain Dakota Prescott once again because they said they couldn't come up with an agreement. All offseason, we heard storylines about Dak Prescott is not that dude. He's not that guy. He is horrid. Mike McCarthy is live right now. Shout out to him. And then what happened here collectively was 3 weeks into the year 2020. Dak Prescott busted his ankle, right? Or 3 or 4 weeks in. He busted his ankle. He busted his ankle, and the Cowboys paid him. Now we fast forward into last year. Michael Gallup busted his ACL. The Cowboys paid him. I'm not laughing at it, but that's just how we work and operate. And now we got two guys that the Cowboys ultimately, it got week 5, he busted his ankle. Appreciate you, Nick. Week 5, he busted his ankle. And now we got two guys. We got Terrence Steele, who got an ACL. It's up for grabs. Do you pay him now? And now we got Tony Pollard, busted his ankle and fibula. Now do you pay him? We said the same issue over and over again. I can't make this stuff up, man. Cam, you're live from the 205, Cam.
Hey man, you ain't come on, Cam, Cam, but you ain't do Queen intro. Queen
man, I'm a little hoarse, man. I don't know if I can get that high no more, man. That's higher than Giraffe. You know what? That note, I got to build my mind for it. I don't know if I can hit that note right now, man. The sinus is whipping me up right now.
Hey, but I got a couple of points I want to make. First of all, this. We talk about Dak being a yes man, but since everybody want Dak traded, I'm gonna say do this then. Dak, you're under a no trade clause. You understand that. Jerry Jones understand that. The whole organization understand that. Dak, I feel like you know football because remember when we played the Vikings and things of that nature, how he was going up to the line. When he seen something that he ain't like, he was like, kill, and then he'll call up another play, you know what I'm saying? Hey, do this. And you seen how we dominated in that game?
Yeah.
And also was a couple of games that he did it in this year where when Kellen Moore called something, he ain't like it. He was like, man, kill that, man. We finna write something, we finna do something else. Dak, he under a no trade clause. So that means under no circumstances can Jerry Jones himself even trade you. In my eyes. I feel like that's what a no trade clause means. Just like the young lady said probably about like 30 minutes ago. So if that's the case, when your offensive coordinator Kellen Moore calls some dumbass, shit, this is what you need to do. I'm under a no trade clause. This is my offense. If you want me gone, I'm gonna do what I want to do this year. If you want me gone, then that's up to y'all in the front office. But we trying to win a Super Bowl. We trying to go as far as this train can take us. Because the little engine that could, he finished his job at the end of the day. Yep. So that at this point, the hell with Kellen Moore. Put up a picture of Kellen Moore and just look how confused he be on the sideline. Kellen Moore got more pictures of him looking dumb than him looking confident and smart. I promise you he do.
That's the man face, man. He can't help what he look like.
No, shit.
That's his man face. No, man.
Look, when you come out as a baby, your mama molds your face into something that she may deem beautiful.
Well, I think
he molded his face.
Yeah. I don't think that's in their culture though. That's only in our side. I don't think they do that in their culture though. For real though. I'm just for real.
In fact. But my whole thing, like I said, you're under no trade clause. You run this offense the way that you run. Mike McCarthy, they say that you know football. They say that you a football god. When it come to football, you know when your offensive coordinator is calling dumb plays. Get on to him. It's all about getting on to the people that you need to get on to win. You see what I'm saying? When we used to go out there and do dumb stuff, my coach, he didn't care if you was a starter. We had a coach like Nick Saban. He didn't care if you was a starter. You start BS in that practice, don't think you finna go and start in the game. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So we need to start, as an organization, they need to start holding, I'm going to stop saying we because we just the fans. They actually play the game. They need to start holding these players accountable for their dumb and selfish mistakes. Because when we played against the 49ers, we played selfish football. I kid you not. People say the defense played awesome, and they did. But it was times, like I said yesterday, it was times that the defense cost us drives and stuff. Just like on that third down when we could have got the ball back. Boom. We get a penalty for the run bland being stupid. You see what I'm saying? So it's just times that and I'm tired of talking about it, but it's just times that they need to sit down in that locker room and say, who are we? Because we don't have an identity. That run,
we still them boys. That's who we are, man. I appreciate you, Cam.
We still them boys at the end of the day. I just want to say, man, Law, to you and Big Game James and all those and all y'all people who go to hell and back for us to give us content and to keep us updated on the Cowboys, even when we're not updated ourselves, man. I just want to thank y'all, man, because y'all really put in that work, man. Y'all really do, man. I appreciate y'all, man, for that, man. Y'all keep me up all kinds of nights because y'all posting all kinds of nights.
Yeah.
Or I'm probably getting recommended Big Games, and so I'm up there watching, and y'all feeding us knowledge and feeding us, stuff that we probably didn't know, and y'all giving it to us, man. And y'all doing better than ESPN. I get your notifications before I get ESPN notifications. So, man, I just want to thank you for all the work that you put in, definitely on this channel, man, and on your 2.0 channel. If y'all not subscribed to Law 2.0 channel, go subscribe to it. Man, he got some good content on there too, man. So I just want to thank you, man. But how about them Cowboys, man? Let's see what we're going to do this draft season, this off season, and when free agent time come around. Let's see what we're going to do, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, Cam. Oh, Cam, yes, indeed. Hey, he brought some good points up to me, man, about Kellen Moore can't help what his face look like, though. That's just what he looked like. He got that disheveled face. I can't believe they put this hat on him, though. Why is that a real picture or that's Photoshop? Why would they put this hat on this man like that? Why would they do the man like that? Oh, my God. Why would they put that hat on him, though? Yeah, but, that's just what he looked like. He can't help what his face looked like, That's Kellen Moore, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kellen Moore. All right. Last but not least, man, I got the 904. You live, man. You've been rocking with me for a long time. 904, you live, baby.
Hey, how's it going, Law?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, this was so disappointing on how everything just went. But I just want to talk, and I can tell you, it was a lot. We just got to do a lot of soul searching on this team. Because behind closed doors, there's a lot of finger pointing, this and that, and these guys are not really on the same page about everything. And I think right now, and then looking forward to this draft, I see this running back out of Texas that's really decent. That's probably be a replacement in the making. Because if we probably can't get, Pollard or Zeke to take that pay cut, and then it's breaking news that Kellen Moore may be staying because Carolina hired Frank Wright.
Right, they did. Yeah, he's gonna stay here. I think he's gonna be here for next season. I don't think that they'll move on from Kellen Moore, and I think that a third of the people already discussed this about that this pass game was on Dak Prescott, not the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think McCarthy is the guy that need to go ahead and take over the play calling, and that's just real talk because some of the stuff that Moore just called, especially the last play of the game, man, that's some stuff that you do on a Madden. I was like, man, what the world is this going on? You have your linemen's on the left and the right, and you got Zeke snapping the ball. I was like, man, this is like the Dallas Cowboys that I knew from back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's just, Kellen Moore, boy. I mean, man, they had to fire this dude on his day off for real.
Yeah, man, we'll find out, man. It's just one of those things, bro.
Yeah, because we got to we really have to really dig down and do some soul searching on that. And then that 2nd and 2 y'all kept talking about, I was like, man, why didn't you just run the ball or do a quarterback draw or something? We can't get 2 yards. I was like,
can't get 2.
Oh
man.
my God! And then with the defense, they held their own, and to be honest, I think they got tired.
Mm-hmm.
They got tired and worn out, and then that's when the 49ers kind of took over. So when they did take that lead, they took over and did what they had to do, and they advanced while we're done. We're done for the season till August.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you for calling in, man. What's your name again, fam?
Hey, my name's Daryl, man.
Daryl.
I tried to get up with y'all last time when when we was in Texas, but I had surgery and all, because I'm a disabled veteran myself, so I just trying to recuperate, recover, and everything. So maybe one time I'm gonna try to get out there, because I've never been to the stadium yet. So I've been making I'm gonna try to make my presence next year to do it, and then because I've been seeing them playing in Jacksonville. And then I know next season we'll go to Miami, so definitely I'm going to be in Miami to see them play.
No doubt.
I'm going to be looking forward. Hopefully you can come out there to South Beach and I'll meet y'all out there or before that.
Well, most certainly, man. We'll be there, man. I appreciate you. If everything works its way out, South Beach sounds like a nice little location to be at, man. I thank you for calling in, and I appreciate you, Daryl.
All right, man. You take care, man. God bless.
God bless, man. Good call from him. All right, that was the last caller. I did a marathon show even when I thought I was going to go live for only a few minutes here. So y'all got reports that Dan Quinn is staying, right? Where y'all get those reports from so I can go look it up right quick? Where y'all get those reports from? Who tweeted it? I need to know. So I can give them credit and I can look up where Dan Quinn will be at. So that's good news, because you don't want to. The Fan, 105.3 The Fan. Okay, let me see. They tweeted it, and I'm going to get on up out of here. I done stole enough of y'all time already. Is it breaking news, or is it just. Let's see.
Guys stand. That is amazing. Now, sometimes you have bad luck in life and it stinks. It's unfortunate. You get hurt, not your fault. If it happens to you out there on the highways and byways, call the Frank.
Tom Pelissero. How do you say that, man? Pelissero. Tom Pelissero. So on the same day Mike McCarthy announced 6 assistants won't return for the 2023. The Dallas Cowboys retained. Okay, all right. So let me hit this right here. Dan Quinn, breaking news. So he'll be staying. I just retweeted that out. My thoughts on this is at least we keep some continuity going on the defense so we know what to expect from this defense. My thing is, yeah, we are a big nickel style of defense. I still think that we need more and more weapons around Parsons. I know I like Parsons for what he brings to the table. We need to reinforce that front. I need big boys, man. I want us to renew Jonathan Hankins' contract. I need for him to continue to play for this team. And I think that whatever we get out of our linebackers, the best option would be to make sure you go back into the draft pool and draft another dominant, dog, nasty type of linebacker. And, of course, your safety work may be a situation whereas you elevate Izzy. Izzy did a wonderful job. And you for dog sure got to go out there and draft another DB at this point. You got to. You got to. Who is with the belief, would you prefer going to get a veteran DB and know what you got from him, know what he brings to the table, not a long in the tooth DB? Who would believe that? So I think that would be better. If you go out there and grab a veteran DB to match up with Trayvon Diggs, DeRon Bland, and you know what this DB is capable of. Where it won't be no, hey, man, maybe, it will not be no maybes, and you'll know for sure. I think 2 spots on this team that can benefit from veteran guys coming, not old, long in the tooth guys. I'm looking at DB veteran guy, and I'm looking at wide receiver veteran guy, not long in the tooth. Those are 2. That'll be my wish list. You know what? I'm going to do another episode where it says Law's wish list for the Dallas Cowboys. 1 being a veteran defensive back that's known for playing good coverages, not getting blown up all over the field, right? And then then you can elevate Izzy. Then the other spot would be wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver, not long in the tooth, not like he 35, talking about, hey, man, he can still run. And I ain't talking about Terrell Owens either, I'm talking about somebody you may have to spend some capital. You get with what you pay for. You get for what you pay for. And that way we won't be going back and forth, talking about, hey, man, this dude just ain't the guy. There you go. And then you go into the draft. Hear me out. You go into the draft. You can draft young interior guys, right? You can draft young linebackers. But on the back end, I think I just need some little veteran type of stuff out there. I trust Trayvon Diggs. I want a veteran, more veteran than Trayvon Diggs out there. Let's go get T.O. Shout out to you, Telio. And then we will rock from there. Bring back T.Y. for a full season. You can still have T.Y., but I'm still looking. I'm still looking. There got to be somebody out there that's a consistent guy. I wouldn't sneeze at DeRon Payne, but I don't think they would allow that. They wouldn't allow it.
It can move.
They wouldn't allow him to be within the same conference or whatever division. But Cowboy Nation, I done exerted all of the energy that I have for today. It's been a long one. I thank y'all. This day I allowed all of the phone calls. It was like 17, 18 people in there before I locked it up. And I let y'all talk. I didn't rush y'all off the lines. Y'all spit your mind. And I think we had a good family meeting today. All right, so we're going to go back and revisit this peer-to-peer conversation. And I believe that the Cowboys going to look back at this and say, hey, Dak Prescott was the reason why the Cowboys lost this playoff game. I mean, he was the reason. So let's continue to stick with Kellen Moore. Let's put more weapons around Dak Prescott. Let's see what we can do from there. We got 2 more years to evaluate him. This season right here, you can see what all you get from him. And then if you don't like what he's bringing to the table, you can muddy the waters, and then you can force him to be on the bench or something like that. You can bench him or what have you, and then you can bring in Cooper Rush. Maybe you sign Cooper Rush to an unbelievable deal, right? That's just how that goes too, right? Cooper Rush, and you sign him to an unbelievable deal, right? That's just how it goes, huh? That's just what they're all telling me to say, right? That's what y'all telling me to say. Because 4 is not the answer. That's what all of you guys are saying, or a third of you guys are saying. Like, it's his fault. You can't be both. You can't make $50,000 a year and say you make $100,000, right? And you can't make $100,000 or $150,000 a year and say, hey, man, I only made 30. It don't work that way. You are who you are. Meaning that if you are above average as it relates to your total income, then that's just who you are. And you can't lie on it. Ask the Chrisleys. The FBI come get you. Whoever them people are. They said they came and knocked on his door. You've been tax evaded. FBI, open up! That's good stuff. They say if you're fighting, fall still fighting, right? A boxer knows that he still have a puncher's chance. And even in the midst of all of this, I forgot to read out the super chats. So in departing, let me read out the super chat. Java says, when Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, he told Jimmy, you take care of the football stuff, I will take care of all of the business related stuff. Is that still the case now? What up, Law? Cowboy Nation for life. Shout out to you, Java. Y'all gotta let me know if I didn't reach our super chats. Java said that. My guy Scott Simpkins said, and let me answer this man question though. Java, if you're still here, and I know it was about an hour ago, I would tell you that once Jerry realized that he wasn't getting the credit for the football information, and we was happy on our way after that Super Bowl, he was saying that, hey, I want some credit too. You left my name out of the conversation of being a football intellectual guy. And a lot of times pride comes before the fall, right? And that's what pride fell into this particular situation. I want the credit, and never again I will allow anyone to make me feel the way Jimmy Johnson made me feel. And that is what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing the same exact thing, that I want the credit. But you know what happened? After Jimmy won his 2 Super Bowls with us, he was on his way to the 3rd one. He started to flirt with other teams. He started to backtalk Jerry Jones. We get all of that. Alpha males gonna be alpha males. 2 are colliding with each other when you no longer have the free time. Now you're in the mix with each other. But truth be said, from here, Jerry Jones in 1995 won the Super Bowl. And what happened here is that you learn more from your failures than your success. But sometimes you, my friend, can be your own worst enemy. Why? Because he was successful without Jimmy. He solidified his thought tracks because he said, I can pick 500 other coaches and win a Super Bowl. And ultimately, it happened. He won the Super Bowl with Barry Switzer. But the truth takes his time getting out of the bed. The truth takes his time brushing his or her teeth. The truth takes his time to knock at your door. And while Jerry was celebrating the Super Bowl, the truth finally came. And it knocked on the door and said, Jerry, you didn't win those Super Bowls. Those were still Jimmy Johnson people. And even Troy Aikman, the great number 8 for the Cowboys, said they had to win in spite of the coaching, meaning that they had to win still from Jimmy Johnson's philosophy. So that's what happened. Shout out to you, Java, for that super chat. Scott Simpkins says, guys, I sent Law that video post-game from Cooper. Y'all would see it if it changed the pay. They would get punished. You may cry looking at Cooper. Shout out to you, Scott, for the $4.99 super chat. We'll go through this super chat too. Robert Howard says, Law, in-game coaching matters in situational football. When you see players struggling, get in his face during the moment as he's coming off the field. You ain't lying. We need some of that. We haven't had that since 94. 93. Daisy Clark, thank you for your support. I think we need to start moving on from Kellen Moore. Fire Kellen Moore movement. He ain't going nowhere. This is a long outro, no limit outros, baby. Let me rewind it one more time. I gotta read the super chat. I be feeling guilty when people put their money in and I don't get a chance to read their comments. Play calling isn't an issue when players execute. D-Web, you're right. It's not an issue when players execute. You're right. But if I'm calling Shaq to shoot a 3, it doesn't matter how I design and develop that play. Don't matter how high I can yell out to the high heavens. Execute it, shoot the perimeter. Shoot the 3, Shaq. He ain't gonna hit it. That's not his forte. So there's two things to that. This is from Paul. Thank you for your insight and knowledge of the game. For the nation, Law. Appreciate you. All right, man. There's all of the super chats, man. I thank y'all, man. Thank each and every last one of you all for tuning in. Just like I wanted to give up earlier, but I stuck it through. A prize fighter, even when he's down, he continue to swing. And that's what we've been doing all this year. Continue to swing. Win, lose, or draw. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go.
I just wanna run it up. Can we check this out? I've been really in the field,
Roll those credits.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Half a ticket to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change. To the safe, got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I'm mixed Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Half a ticket to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah.
When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with
Kinda check a song. Lately I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah, I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clothes. Yeah, I be at home alone. I be in zones alone. I be on road alone. Yeah, I've been really in the field. Love the rush, I love the feel. Lately I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately I just wanna run it up. Yeah.
All right, appreciate all of y'all. One love to you. If you're watching and you have not hit that like button or share this content.
Lately I just wanna run it up.
Shame. Shame.
Lately I just wanna run it up.
But you already know I still got nothing but love for you, man.
Nothing but love for you, baby.
Come on.
Got nothing but love for you, baby. I got nothing but love for you, baby. Got nothing but love for you, baby.
Let me see some blue hearts in the chat. Salute.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to be.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.